Dun, 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 dun. Oh my gosh. Greetings, everybody. Greetings and welcome to Real Talk with Simply Deez. Today is Tuesday, the 5th of July, 2022. And for those of you that don't know, because we're not assuming today, not assuming anything, my name is Dee Bailey and I am the founder of Simply Deez events. The sun's coming through, so that's a good sign. That means we've got some glorious weather going on in the UK. And for those of you that or know that I can chat, but it's not about me today, because today is another truly packed show, and you can see sitting there quite patiently. Surprise. It's the lovely Lady Munya. Greetings, sister. Greetings. How are you?
I'm good, Dee. How are you?
Da, 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 da.
You
I
just want to
I
sing,
feel
don't you? Okay,
literally
go for it.
I feel pumped. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. Ding, 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 ding. Hi, Rita. Hi, Rita. Yeah. Do you know what? I feel like I'm literally high on life. Seriously, high on life, and just feeling blessed. And whatever it is that's happening, I don't know. But just enjoying the highs, the lows, just embracing it all. And when I find you're embracing it, it kind of, it's not so bad, even when there's shit times. And you kind of embrace it and like, do you know what? Worse things are happening.
Yes,
Worse things are
absolutely right.
happening out there. So, greetings, honey. How are you today?
I'm good. Well, like you say, that there is a lot going on out there, and I must say we are highly favored and blessed
Mm,
uh, to be here and doing what we do with no restrictions, no fear, feeling safe where we are. And yet, other people do not feel the same way that we do.
most definitely. Most definitely. And when we
Mm,
say sort of like, that doesn't mean everything's great. That doesn't mean
absolutely not. I
we've got
mean,
all the money.
there's,
It's not about that exactly.
there's a whole lot going on otherwise, but there are people who are worse off than we are.
Most definitely. And I think that's where when they say gratitude, and gratitude is a must regardless. And just being grateful for being here, being now, being present.
Yep.
For me, doing the stuff that I love, even some of the stuff I don't love, I'm just grateful.
Yes.
I'm
You,
just,
you
do you know what I
can
mean?
you just gotta carry on and do it all. The stuff you love, the stuff you don't, you just gotta get done, innit?
Yeah. So because the show's called Real Talk, which it is, tomorrow's not promised, right?
Yes.
Tomorrow
Live
is not
every day
promised
like
to
it's
any of
the
us.
last day. Yeah.
Definitely. So, there's a few people out there, Munya, that'll be like, I know her, I've seen her.
Yeah. Yeah.
They think they know you. They think they know you,
Some,
and you,
some do.
um, you've been on the show before, generally producing. Let's get this straight. So everyone's going like, she's the lady that normally dips in and dips. Yes, this young lady. If I was in the studio, Pamtango studio would be producing the one that's doing this all the time. Do you know what
Yes.
the time is? Hurry up. How many
Yes.
guests did you say you've got? Keeping me on track and on time. And for all those years since we started, which was, oh my gosh, 1st of May 2018, started Real
Yes.
Talk with Simply Deez. And we were in the studio for years. COVID hit, and I've been back a few times, but predominantly doing this online now, and being able to reach people that perhaps couldn't get into the studio um,
Yes.
is good also as well. So, Lady Munya, instead of sort of like, because we're going to talk about something in particular very shortly, but for the guys out there, it's like a case of, I want to know a little bit about you. So you weren't expecting this bit. So I want to peel back because you didn't just land here at your age. Where were you born, darling?
I was born in Zimbabwe.
I do know that, but for
Yeah,
the masses there, you was born in Zimbabwe. And how long were you actually living there for then before you came over?
I lived in Zimbabwe until 2002, and that's you gotta make me start counting.
Oh, um, where's the mathematician? Because it certainly isn't Munya and myself. Greetings, belated greetings. I've got other things going on, and I'm just reading Shelley's comments, the producer's comments. Dee is excited tonight. Yes, I am.
Yeah, I
Um,
lived in Zimbabwe until I think I was 24.
wow. Okay. And can I ask the decision for you to come over to the UK? I mean, did you think that? I know certainly back in the West Indies, it used to be England was a land of, what do they call it? Milk and honey.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't that, to be honest. It was something else.
Hmm.
I lost somebody I loved dearly, and I, I just saw, like, there was nothing else for me to live in Zimbabwe for, and I really struggled to cope after I lost them. So my sister was here at the time; she had already come to the UK, and she's the one who decided, well, why don't you come over and see how it is, and see how you get on. And I thought, well, okay, I'll give it a go. And then when I came over, it wasn't the milk and honey that you're talking about. It was something totally different. And was here, I think, about a week. And I
And you
thought,
want to go
nah,
back?
this is not for me. My ticket is still valid. I'm jumping on the next plane. I'm going back home.
Did
Why
you come
that
in the winter
was,
or the summer?
it was March, and those days, March was really cold. It was one of those where winter was winter, if you know what I mean. Back those days in
Yes.
2002, it was really cold. You would get snow up to knee high, something serious like that. That's the time that I came over. But it wasn't the winter that really got me to think, nah, I can't do this. I want to go back home. It was um, it was the lifestyle and the change in my profession that made me think, no, this is not me. I had a good job when I was back home, and now I'm working in. Nothing wrong with what I'm going to say. This, I know there are people who already working in the warehouses and doing the best that they can to provide for themselves. But for me, I was a sales executive coming from Zimbabwe. I worked for a big shipping line company, and I had a company car. Everything was good for me. I had all that knowledge and expertise and experience. And I was at the time where I was thinking, this is my prime time as a young woman. I'm getting successful in my line of business that I'm going into. And then to jump from that to go into picking and packing in a warehouse. I'm like, whoa, what has happened? So in that short time that I was here, I said to myself, I had to make a very, very big decision. It's either I stay or I go back home. So I say to my sister, no, I can't do this. My job is still waiting for me. I can still go back and carry on with what I was doing. And she was like, well, probably we need to try something else, which is in line with what you was doing when you were back home. And I said, well, let's see if there is anything like that. Then yeah, I'm up for it. So I left the job I was doing in the warehouse, and I found myself another job working with Carlsberg Tetley. and I was doing data entry in as an administration job in the office, which was much better than what I was doing. So with that, it gave me a glimmer of hope to say I can still work towards, getting a job in what I know best. Yeah. But then it didn't happen that way. So over the years, I worked in Carlsberg Tetley, and then I thought that this is boring because you know how data entry is. You're doing the same thing every day on your computer, entering numbers, entering names, and I'm like, nah, this is not me. I'm an outgoing person. I'm that person who wants to go out there, speak to people, do different things in the community. And I left that job. I started care work. I went into care work, which was more exciting in a way that I got to meet a lot of people that I was caring for. And even though the back of my mind was just saying, no, this is not you. This is not where you're supposed to be. I struggled back again those days with my visa. When I came, my visa ran out, and I had to work on having that application put in and getting my stay, which took long. So I couldn't be documented to be in the right position where I wanted to be. But then eventually I got to get my documentation sorted out, and then I decided this is now time for me to really think that do I want to carry on in doing the jobs that are just there, or do I want to now start doing the things that I love doing? A job is where you want to wake up in the morning and you're feeling, yes, I'm going to work. Not a job that you're thinking, oh my gosh, do I really have to? You know what I mean? So um one thing led to another. I met my partner now, and he was looking at sending things back home. He was looking at redoing his flat, and he wanted to send all his furniture back home. And he gave it to some woman in Northampton, who at the time was doing shipping to go to Zimbabwe. But then it didn't work out. A year passed, the stuff wasn't gone, it wasn't shipped, and then there was all sorts of problems with it. And then I said to him, out of the blue, I can do this job, right? He's like, what do you mean you can do this job? I said, yeah, I did. This is where I've come from. This is what I've learned from when I started working as a young woman from 17 years old. This is all I know. I've done shipping, exports, imports. I've done it all. He's like, no way. Why didn't you tell me this before? I'm like, well, I'm telling you now. So he's like, okay, let's see what you can do. So I booked a couple of shipments for him. His stuff was sent back home. It arrived safely, and he was happy. And he says, so if this is what you know how to do best, why are you working in a job that you don't like doing? I'm like, I've never had an opportunity for somebody to come and say that to me and give me the chance to do what I do best. And it's only now that I'm with you, you are the one who's going to give me this chance. And World Cargo was born from that. That was 2006.
Oh my God, I
And
didn't realise this was such a love story. Yeah, only now, all the time I known you two, and this is the love story that you kept hidden from us all. Oh my gosh.
yeah, I think this is the second time I'm talking about this story. It's something that I've never spoken about all the time. And now will be the second time I'm talking about it, to be honest.
Now is the time. Now is the time. That is
Yeah.
lovely. Is he there?
He's in the other room.
I want to speak to him before the end of the show. Um, oh my gosh. Okay, so World Cargo, um, Pamtango,
Yeah,
we kind of know
I
about.
started World Cargo 2006, but when you're not feeling very confident about yourself, you're in a new country, you have new rules, everything is different. it's not that much different, but there are certain things that you have to comply with before you can get your own business and stuff like that. So for me, I thought to myself, instead of me just jumping into this, let me just hold on a bit to my job and do this road cargo on the side. So I did my 9 to 12, and then 12, the rest of the day, I would do the shipping side of things. But then over a couple of weeks, I realized that the prime time was between 9 and 12, and this is the time that I'm not available. My phone is off, people are trying to reach me, I'm not answering the phone, people end up going somewhere else. So I was losing business because I'm trying to hold on to this job that I think I need this job so that I can pay for my bills, my rent, and everything else. And then one day I just decided, you know what, let me try this thing, um, on a full, you know, just jump in
Full-time
there.
basis.
Yes, put my all into it. If it doesn't work, then I can always go back and find another job. And then here we are. I never went back to look for another job. So
Wow.
yeah, that's how it all started.
Oh my gosh. So sorry, I'm messaging a guest is kind of asking me a few questions at the same time.
That's
So
all right.
you've done so many different things within the community, Munya. Tell us what special is coming up in a few weeks.
Um, After we started World Cargo International, it wasn't easy. There was a lot of advertising that needed to be done. People to know about us, and the advertising was very expensive, and we couldn't get a loan from the bank for business startup for certain reasons. I don't know why it just kept on being rejected. So my partner decided, you know what? Why don't we just start our own radio station and advertise ourselves? And then Pamtengo Radio was born. That was
See,
so we
I
started
didn't
Pamtengo
realise he was.
Radio. Sorry, say that again,
Sorry, go
Dee.
on. No, sorry, go on.
Okay, yeah, so that's how Pamtengo Radio started. So for us to be able to advertise our own business on our own platform wherever we want, whatever time we want, and then all the other things started coming in. We got volunteers, different presenters from different countries wanted to come on board, and yeah, it just grew like that until today. And then we started also getting into community events where we bring the community together, do things like maybe a football tournament. People come, we have music, food, and children's play areas and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's been happening since 2015. And because of COVID, there was a few events that we had lined up, which was the African Music Festival, and then we got shut down with COVID, so we had to postpone everything. So that is now happening this year on the 23rd of July. Luton Afrofest will be in Manor Park for the first time in Manor Park. You remember, Dee, we always used to do the get-togethers, African
Yes,
music. It was always indoors, but
that's
now
right.
we're taking it on another level and just seeing how that will come out. So we will find out on the 23rd of July.
So lots of work to do, lots of work to do. So there's those people, and Jeremy's waiting in the wings because he's my next guest, and he's not local. So sort of like hearing about this, it might be because remember we're beaming to the masses out there. So what's
Yes.
going to be happening for those people that are interested?
There's going to be a lot happening. We have exhibitors, we have a fashion show, we have different charities, organizations who are going to be there on the day giving out information about services that are available in the community. And we have children's jumping castle. We have a mini basketball tournament that's going to happen, which Sam is working on now. And we have musicians, we have live band musicians. Kasai Masai is going to be there. Limpopo Groove is going to be there. Three Kings are going to be there. Busim Flanga and the Zulu dancers, so you can get a feel of the proper Zulu dancing from South Africa. So if you want to do Jerusalem, this is your chance to come and mash it up again.
I think that's probably what some people will say on a mash up, that track. I'm sure that
Yeah,
is what we can say. So
yeah, and then there's food as well, African food, and there's a storyteller. Is a guy from Sierra Leone, and he's going to be telling stories about Africa and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot that's going to be happening, and you don't want to miss it. There's arts and crafts on sale, and it's a free event. So just bring some money to buy some stuff and buy some food and drinks.
oh my gosh, absolutely amazing. So
Yeah.
what do you need from the masses out there? What do you need from the people? What do you need from them?
I need people to just come and experience a taste of Africa, just to
Mm.
see how we do the celebration. I mean, this year's it's been all about celebrating the Queen's Jubilee, and there's been a lot of activities happening across the country. So Luton Afrofest is just one of those celebrations to complement all the other festivals that's been happening across the world. So yeah,
Excellent, excellent, excellent. We will be there, as in Simply Deez will be there. Shelley Scrumptious will be there.
yes,
And I know the Life in a Lockdown crew, some of the guys
yes,
are also going to be there
yes,
also as well.
yes.
So we've been posting, obviously, you can see along all your information, World Cargo, Pamtengo, obviously about the event on the 23rd of July. If anybody has missed any of that information or wants to know more, they can obviously contact you, Lady Munya, on the information we've got on screen. Or if they didn't catch that, let us know at Simply Deez, post something in the comment, and we'll ensure we get back to you with that information. Is there flyers for this? So for those
There is
people, is there
flyers.
flyers or is it electronic or?
We have both. We're going to be in the Luton Mall. Thank God for the mall for supporting us with our event. So I think we're going to have 1 or 2 days that we'll be in the mall,
Fab.
blasting some Afro beats and, just passing them flyers around for people to know about the event. And I just want to say a massive thank you to Luton Rising, which is our airport, our London Luton Airport. They're doing a great deal of work supporting the community, giving back to the community. And we are lucky to be one of those organizations that's been funded by Luton Rising this year.
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Well, I got more out of you than I thought I was going to get, Munya.
What did you say?
I know you thought you were going to just talk about the show, but it don't work like that. So I
You,
do hope you're
you
listening.
didn't expect the story, did you?
I didn't expect, but I didn't think you were going to reveal anything more than I thought. She's going to try and duck and dive. I know she is, but I thought, no, I'm going to nail her this time. Nail her. I hope you're listening, Mr. Salmon, because you're next. You know you're going to look at him. I can see him smiling. You know you're going to get roasted. You're going to get toasted. And all the rest that goes with that. Lady Munya, thank you so much for coming on
Thank
today
you,
and telling
Dee.
us
Thank
more
you
about
for
the event.
having me.
We'll continue to share, as you know, and we'll catch up soon. All right, darling?
I absolutely appreciate that.
And
Thank you very
say
much.
hi to Mr. Lover Lover Man.
I think he's going to bed.
You mean he's waiting for you? It's all right.
No.
We're after the watershed. Don't worry. Don't worry. I can say these things. It's my show. I can say what I want. I'm not in the studio. Enjoy whatever you do. Enjoy.
Well,
Let's.
I'm going to be still listening, so you will see me.
Make sure you are, because actually I'm laughing and joking, but this is how things are for me. Can we bring on our next guest? Stay on there just 1 second, Munya, before you disappear. Greetings, Mr. Salmon.
Greetings. How you doing? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh,
can
great.
hear you fine, darling.
Hi, Munya. How you doing?
So,
hi, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Hearing you guys talk, I'm beginning to miss Luton.
Oh, you need to come back. There's a lot
Yeah,
going on here.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it.
because I was just and you both know I'm just so much of a teaser, but this young man, and he gave me his bio, so I'm not making this up. Jeremy Salmon, father of 6. It was 6 children, wasn't it? I did read it right.
That's right, yeah.
See, I'm not making it up, Lady Munya. So we will let you go and do what you have to do.
Okay, I'll be listening in. Nice to meet you, Jeremy, and thanks you for having me on the show.
That's all right, darling.
Okay.
That's all right. We'll catch up soon.
Catch up soon. Cheers.
All right. Bye-bye. Oh, at last, Mr. Salmon.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm fine. I'm doing really well. How about yourself?
Yeah. Oh, at the beginning of the show, I was like, just all. There's no music, you know, because if you play certain tracks on Facebook and it's like a known track, they cut your live stream. They cut your live stream. So
okay.
we don't do that anymore. So
right.
they had a bit of me singing.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what the producer thought, and that's what the rest of them thought. But I don't know why you're laughing. But anyway, it is so good to have you on the show
likewise.
today.
Thank you.
No, seriously. I hope you know that yourself and the wife, Leah, and the family. I'm so pleased, proud to know you all, that and that you take the time out, because you are taking time out and taking away from your family to come on my shows, or if it's an event, you support all the time. So if I can do things to support you guys and share what you're doing, then that's what I'm here to do. Okay, that is literally what I'm here to do. So some of the masses out there, because we're streaming live, we're on Facebook, on the Simply Deez events page, also Pamtengo Radio's page, and also we are live on Simply Deez events on the YouTube. So there's no excuse for people not to be able to watch this, whether it's live or they watch it and catch it on the replay. Some people out there are going like, I recognise him, I know him. You know, it's like, I know him. That's that. But they don't. The reason I say that, I don't really know you. So what I'm going to do, I know we're going to talk about a few things a little bit later on, but I want to peel it back, sir. You're going like, what do you mean peel it back? Peel it back as far as when you were born. Where were you born?
Wow. Okay.
Schooling. That's how far.
Wow. Okay. Let's going back.
If you don't mind.
Well,
No, stop acting like you're that old.
I'm getting on a little bit. It's, the grades, yeah. But yeah,
that doesn't mean anything.
So yeah, going all the way back, I was born in North London. I was born in Edmonton. I have, how many siblings do I have now? I have 5 sisters and 3 brothers. So I'm a part of a big family, so you can understand why I've got a big family as well.
That was one of my questions. Why are you stealing my questions?
Oh, sorry. We're one of the great minds think alike.
I'm only kidding. So where do you sit amongst that 8? Where do you sit?
I sit kind of in the middle. Yeah, kind of in the middle.
Child.
Yeah, kind of in the middle to the youngers kind of thing. Yeah, I've got three younger sisters. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I sit.
Okay.
So yeah. So as far as schooling and stuff, went to Hansfield School, Edmonton.
Did you enjoy it?
Not really. Do you know, I wasn't very academic. I wasn't very academic at all. So I was, I was very much into art from the get-go. I've always been like the, not to brag, but always like that, the best kind of artist in the school, every school I kind of went to until I went to university and stuff. But yeah, academically, I didn't do as well. And I found that, and I don't know if other people have experienced this as well, if you was in the same kind of boat as me, but back in those days, back in the, the 70s, 80s, they wouldn't, you know, they don't have the facilities of was what they do today, I guess. Whereas, you know, if you're not learning as quick as the other children, they just kind of put you to one side and kind of let you get on with it. So I
Yep.
literally went through primary school not knowing much. I got into secondary school. My reading was, I could barely read. It was, you know, I literally had to catch up and learn everything in secondary school, because in secondary school I actually found teachers that kind of, and it's down to care, I think, because there was I had an English teacher. She was a black English teacher, and she could see I was struggling, but she homed in on my creative writing, which was good, even though my spelling and everything was terrible and reading was terrible. But she spent the time and kind of helped, and yeah, she kind of gave us a lot of a more rounded kind of, you know, kind of education in terms of English, like, you know, rather than listening to, you know, reading like Shakespeare and everything else, would be like reading like Mutabaruka, and you know what I'm saying? Like she was kind of bringing a lot into the class kind of thing, so making us more interested. So yeah, I'm very grateful to her. I can't even remember her name, but yeah, I'm very grateful to her because she kind of really helped. And
So how were your siblings? I mean, were they kind of struggling also, or
no, not
were
at all. My
they sort
siblings,
of like? I mean,
yeah, no, my siblings, they were kind of yeah, I was that exception, I guess, because my oldest brother, Christopher, he was like he did his exams a year early. He was like head of the chess club, and you know he was like that brilliant child kind of thing. So yeah, a lot of my other siblings were the same. I know one of my older brothers, he was very good with art as well. So you know that's why I kind of I was kind of trying to follow in his footsteps. I'd see what he was doing. I'd be thinking to myself, I want to be as good as him. And I used to get his art books and stuff. So yeah, my siblings, they've all got a lot of different skills. I mean, now, you know, they're one of my brother's a teacher. My sister, she owns multiple businesses, and you know, they're all doing quite well. So yeah. I think that was due to
okay.
my mother. She's, the Jamaican mothers, old school Jamaican mothers that go read a book.
Yes.
Yeah, she kind of
Yes.
really, you know, pushed. Yep, yeah, she really pushed us to yeah, make sure we did well academically. You know, yeah, I think that was probably one of
Ah,
the main things for the Windrush generation when they came over, is
yes.
that, you know, we get the
Yes.
opportunities that they didn't have and stuff, so
They did,
they pushed us.
and
So
very much, and exactly what you're saying now in terms of whether or not and not understanding that maybe not all of us are going to be exactly the same. You know, as you sort of said, you've got all your other siblings, and that doesn't mean that you're all going to be at a certain standard. Some are going to be there, some are going to be there, but your parents, it was a lot of, it's education, education. And for me,
yeah,
you couldn't talk about no sport. What sport? Sport is what you watch on the TV. Sport isn't something that you're going to tell them you want to do, because that is not going to get you a job. And that is what we were, which was drummed into us, wasn't it? It's all
yeah,
about,
but
sorry.
no, I was gonna say, it's funny you say that though, because with my art, my mum, she really pushed. She really kind of you know, kind of supplementing what I was doing. Like she even knew one of her friends was an artist, so I went and did private oil painting lessons with him, and you know, she would buy me stuff, and you know, different art equipment and stuff. So you know, even though that probably wasn't seen as like a job, you know, a job you'd want to get, or your parents would want you to get, she could kind of see from a young age that, you know, I had a talent at it, and that I'd probably do it, you know, do well at it in the future. So she did kind of, yeah, she was very helpful, and helped me a lot when I was young.
Excellent. So from schooling, and was it then sort of like university, or what did you do?
Yeah, from school. So now I did my A levels. I actually had to. It's a funny story. I had to, because to do I wanted to do A level graphics, but I didn't do it in my school. I did it in another school that was not too far away from us. But my teachers were saying, because I didn't do graphics at my school, that I wouldn't be able to do it. But I don't know why I did it, but I just didn't take no for an answer. I went to the school and I spoke to the teacher. I showed him my portfolio, and he enrolled me on the course. So I ended up doing that again, my A levels in graphics and art and stuff. Then I
So
went on
that,
to, yeah.
so sorry, you'll find I keep doing this. So what you're
It's
saying
okay.
is you had that self-belief.
Yeah. Yeah,
because I
it's funny
think
because when I look back at it now, I don't know. It just seemed like I just couldn't accept what I was saying. I was like, I'm good enough to do it, so I just went, just went through it.
because that is not the case for many, and probably even so now. You get told. I mean, I was told. You know, when you have your choices in, I don't know, maybe I think it was probably year 4 at the time, or whatever year it was, and it was a case of, you know, you could choose your subjects. I actually wanted to do like sewing and all that sort of stuff. I was told I wasn't good enough. So I couldn't choose that as a subject to go ahead and do my, it was CSEs at the time, and so I couldn't even pick that.
Oh wow.
And you know, so sometimes your direction, unless you've got, as you sort of just said then, that self-belief, your direction is kind of, you're guided in a direction as opposed to maybe perhaps the direction you want to go in, and maybe years down the line it's something that you know what, if I'd have had that self-belief or maybe the support, I might have gone the direction that I'm currently going in now. So you were one of the fortunate ones, I would say.
Yeah. And it's very interesting because I mean that's one of the reasons why like you know, me and my wife, we homeschool with the children and stuff, because these things happen quite a lot. Even now, you know, 2022, like, you know, children are struggling and can be isolated at school and not, you know, not finding their way, you know, the way that the things that they're supposed to be doing, you know, through the school system. So yeah.
So I know the kids aren't in the school system, but the school system, I mean, how much has it changed in all of these years?
Oh, the
so
school
as
system.
in terms of, you go to the classroom, taught,
Oh gosh. I don't know if a lot has changed. I mean, I'm not sure if you're aware of Cheryl Phoenix Henry, the
yes,
Black Child Agenda. Yeah, so you know,
yes.
kind of seeing what she does and the things that she faces, like today, like, you know, in 2022, like I said, it's amazing that things haven't really changed since the 1970s kind of thing, which is
So you can't
a
be,
shame. Like oh, sorry, I
sorry,
was
go
going
on.
to just mention, like, you know, Child Q? What happened at the school?
Yes.
Yeah, so you know, it's amazing these things still happening. Do you know what I mean? So you know, one of the things that as a parent, you know, you just want to safeguard your children. You know, we want to safeguard all of our children in the children in the community. So yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it can be a bit hit and miss in schools because you know, you've got some fantastic teachers out there, you know, that I've worked with. You know, teachers that are really dedicated to the children and their learning and stuff. So you know, it's a difficult one. You know, you've got excellent teachers and you've got teachers that are there. It's just a job for them. So
And just to get the paycheck.
yeah.
At the end, maybe there's things that could have been identified that haven't been. That haven't been until kind of later on in life. You know, sometimes you hear sort of like kids, literally like you're saying, get into like high school and can't read, and you're thinking, how has that not been identified?
Yeah. Unfortunately, people, you know, children slipping through the gaps all the time. Yeah, children, yeah.
Definitely. So how is it homeschooling? Did you say? I mean, of the school age, how many children have you got of school age, of schooling age?
Well, all of them. The youngest is 6, and the oldest is 17. So she's kind of like, you know, sort of finishing and stuff. But yeah, we pretty much, you know, well, it's mainly Leah that does the most of the homeschooling. I will supplement with, you know, different art lessons and, you know, different you know, kind of design and, you know, animation, graphics and coding and that kind of stuff, web design. Yeah, so they're all pretty much the age of learning.
So I know people out there, and like myself included, to be honest, and it's like when the kids were young, I mean, they're like sort of like, my son's like nearly 30, well, he's going to be 30 this year, and they're 29. So like, let me sort of like take it back, way back then. When they got to the age when they could go to school themselves, and it was like, bye, see you, love you. I'm being honest. Back then,
yeah, no, I don't blame you.
Yeah, felt. And it's a case of like, oh, you know, you've gone to
Freedom.
work or whatever it is, and that. And if I'm honest with you, it was harder being at home than it was at work. So for you to be not just at home with the kids, and Leah at home with the kids, also homeschooling, how hard? I can't imagine how hard that is. Or it might not be hard.
I mean, it definitely has its challenges. Definitely has its challenges. I mean, like I say, Leah, she does most of her homeschooling, but you know, it's kind of like it's kind of a teamwork thing. So I would work certain days in the week, when she's with the children homeschooling, and then we'll kind of switch, and she'll be doing her business, and I'll be with the children, kind of thing. So yeah, we've got a kind of a support system, you know. Yeah, and I know how it could be quite difficult for, you know, maybe single parents that haven't got a support, or someone they're on it 100%, you know, 24/7 kind of thing. But yeah, no, it does have its challenges and stuff. But I think it'd only be fair if Leah would speak about it more than me, because she does more than I do.
She might say different, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did quite a bit when they were younger. I did quite a bit. Yeah, and then she kind of took the reins a bit more, and now I'm kind of stepping in to help a bit more. So, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not all difficult. It is fun as well, because you know we go out on trips, we take them out. We've got quite a good home education what do you call it, community up here in North Midlands and West Midlands, sorry, Wolverhampton, Birmingham, and every once in a while we'll get together and we'll go out to, you know, go to museums, go to parks, and all the children know each other. So it's like a class, you know, it's like them being in school, because they'll know their school friends or their home ed group friends. Yeah, so you know, and that's one of the things people kind of say that don't know much about homeschooling. They say, oh, how do they go out and make friends and that kind of stuff, and you know, socialize and that kind of stuff.
The interaction, and wondering if they're at home, are they missing out on all of that sort of stuff? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you know, as a homeschool parent, we kind of have to supplement that and make sure that happens. We get them to, you know, make sure they see their friends and they get to go out and do fun stuff and learn along the way as well. So
of course. Oh my gosh. I don't know, sort of like, you know, obviously, I mean, we only had sort of like not only, but there was 2 years of COVID, and the amount of parents that like, whereas before the teachers were like this, that, and then it was like the respect I have for the teachers now has gone through the roof. How they manage kids, and obviously homeschooling was very hard for some. And I think even, because you know, you're talking about single parents, I think even when you've got two of you at home, when there's two of you, you probably may have one that's maybe, you know, there's always a stricter one, and there's probably one that's like, it's all right, don't worry about it, get that TV on, relax. You know, so it's not necessarily always easier with two parents, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh my
but
gosh.
yeah, it's interesting.
So,
I think there's a time lapse, because I'm just literally, as you're finishing, I'm then cutting in, and kind of vice versa. So I do apologise for that.
Okay.
What I was going to say, we're very fortunate that Shelley, the producer, she's got sort of like, obviously on the ticker feed there, all about your website and the book,
I can see.
and the book that you
Thank you.
That you graciously sent me some, and I gifted one to a young man 2 weeks ago. Actually, I'm just trying to think whether you may have, when I say met him, you would have met him perhaps online when I did the Black Bookcase a year or so ago.
Was he the young man that interviewed me?
The Lemonade. Do you remember? That's got.
I think so. Yeah, there was a young man that was doing some interviews.
Yeah, that's the one. That's who I gave the book to.
Oh wow! Oh, thank you.
That's who I gave the book to. So last week we were supposed to catch up, because I was going to ask him some questions, because apparently he's read the book now and he's waiting for me to.
Oh right. Okay, you know, I'd love to hear what he says. I mean, that's one of the things that guides me to do what next. Like, people ask me, okay, so what's next? You've done this book. I've done a few of them at the moment, but people always ask me what's going to be next, and it all depends on feedback. And I'm always listening. That's when I go to events. That's why I like to get out to events and, you know, meet people and sell the books and stuff. And just get people's feedback. And sometimes I'll see children and they'll come to the table and they'll be like, I've got that book. I'll be like, oh, great. How do you like it? And I'm like, yeah, they'll tell me how it was or what they didn't like or what they did like. And I'll be taking notes and I'll be like, yeah, that'll be great to hear what you think. Yeah,
definitely. Can you tell the guys, because they're like going like, what books are you talking about? Please tell me you have your books with you. You've got your books?
Round and
Yay.
round. Okay, so this is my first book. Yeah, so yeah, Round and Round is a children's rhyming book, and it's an introduction to group economics for children. So which sounds complicated, but it's very simple. So it's literally just about a story about young business owners, and they all support each other within their community. And it shows how one of the business owners spends with someone else, and how they spend with the other person, and they keep on going until it goes all the way around until it gets to the person that originally spent. So it kind of shows how you can build a community by keeping the pound or the money within the community, and and just trying to get that message out to children, I think is it's a very, very important thing. So when they grow older, if they use the principles of group economics and starting up businesses and supporting each other and stuff, it will drastically change the communities that they're living in. So that's kind of why I do what I do.
And when did that book come out? Sorry, when did it come out?
That book originally came out in 2018. I started
Has it been around that long? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, because the thing was, I started my Baobab Learning, which is the organization that comes along with the learning resources and the books that I'm doing. And what it was at the time, it was kind of like more of a side project because, as you know, I've been running my design company for over 17 years now. We design, and I didn't really put as much time as I should have put into it when I started. That's why it's been taking me so long from 2018 to now. And then it's only this year I've kind of said to myself that this is what I'm doing 100% full time. So I'm not doing I've stopped doing the design now. I'm not doing the design as much now, and just focusing 100% on this. So yeah, that's why this year I've put out the activity book that comes with the storybook, and I've literally just finished the coloring book as well. So that's going to be probably published in the next couple of weeks as well. So, and I've got another 2 or 3 publications to bring out by the end of the year. So I'm going for it.
Excellent. Oh my gosh. So you, not just yourself, you are excelling, and also, I mean, what an example, not just yourself, also Leah, a setting for your family, and not just for your family, for so many of us,
Thank you.
Do you no, seriously, do you mind sharing just some of the things that your children are doing, as in terms of some have got their own businesses?
Oh yeah. It's funny because just thinking of my oldest daughter now, Matat, she's 17 years old, and she's now like on her 5th business now. Do you know what I mean? So
wow,
she's doing quite well. She's got a business called My Instant Journal. Sorry?
Did you say 5?
5, yeah, 5th. Because what it is, because they're, so when they start off quite young, say maybe I think she was maybe about 8 when she started doing her books and stuff. They're gonna find different interests, and so more than us adults, if we have a business, we're more likely to stick with it for a little bit longer. They'll chop and change, and and they'll find their way, kind of thing. And just giving them the freedom to do that is fine. Like just experience stuff, fail at it, succeed. Have wins, have losses, and So she's on her 5th one now. She's decided that she's gonna go back to her books now. Where she started. She's an excellent author as well. Her last business was My Instant Journal. So she created journals, and she had a sticker machine where she designed these sticker sets where people could just get a plain journal and decorate their journals using the sticker sets, putting dates and things like that, which was a really good idea, and she did really well at it. But she just decided she wants to go back with her books.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got some of my children are into they're all artistic. Funny enough, they're all excellent artists. So they're all using it in
Wow.
different ways. So
Yeah.
some of them, the younger ones, are they're getting into coding a lot. They're starting to code games and things like that. They're getting interested into, which is a program called Scratch. It's a free thing on the internet where children can learn the basics of coding. One of my daughters, she's like a seamstress. She's excellent at design making clothes and stuff. She wants to get some dolls. She wants to get some wholesale dolls and sell them and do the clothes and that kind of thing. My youngest daughter, she's 6. She says she wants to do a lemonade stand. So we're gonna do some lemonade with her. So that's one of the things. So yeah, that's some of the things that they're doing and getting up to. One of my daughters, she had like she had a business where she was selling science kits. So she'd buy science kits at a wholesale price and she'll mark them up and sell them for profit, kind of thing. And now she's got a jewelry business. She makes jewelry and stuff. So she sells it on her website. So yeah, that's just some of the things that they're doing as
oh my gosh,
young entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely, because it was always drummed into when I say us, as in like certainly my generation. Do you know what I mean? 57 now. Like back then, it was a case of education, because when you finish your education, you then get a job. And you're working for somebody. It was never a case of, for me, I'm not talking for everybody, but I'm talking about for me, it was never a case of like you work for yourself. And obviously what you guys are doing now is sort of like setting that so that, if they wish to go to and work for an employer, but do you know what I can actually do for myself, and I want to be my own boss. I think that's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, and one of the good things that I saw my mother, she had her own business. She had a grocery store in Tottenham High Street. And so I spent most of my time before I went to school in there, kind of, seeing a business being run. Also my father, he had a butcher shop in Tottenham as well. So, and just through my family, and I think, in a lot in the kind of the Caribbean, my parents, they're from Jamaica. So, a lot of their generation, it was just normal. It was just like, everyone just did something, like they had some kind of business, even if it was just like collecting mangoes and going into town and sending it to people in town. And
exactly.
Because that's one of the things my mum said she did when she was just a little girl. She because she lived in the country, so the fruits there was just abundant, and then she'll just go to the road. They'll go to the road, and people that are on the road, they'll just sell it. So
It's all instilled in you from way back.
yeah, and that's the thing as well, Dee. It's like with children, what they see is what they're gonna do. So if they see you doing it, they're like, what, I can do it as well. Like if somebody, so it's very important as parents to be aware of what you're doing in front of them. Like if you're gonna do anything, do something.
I'm doing that because I want you to rewind that one, mate.
Yeah.
Rewind that. They will do because what we do, for me, we do a lot of talking. So we'll say something, but we're doing something different.
Yeah, 100%.
But we're still expecting whatever it is. But it's like, I don't see you doing that. I don't see you doing whatever it is. So
yeah, and I think more than listening, they're watching. They're just looking at what you're doing. Like that saying when they say don't do what I say. Oh, can't remember what it is. Don't do
as I say. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's saying, like, that's kind of nonsense, isn't it? It's like if you're gonna tell someone to do it, like,
do that.
Yeah, I know. But the reality is that they're gonna do what they see you doing. So just be aware of that for the new parents, young parents, or even older parents.
Yes, I was just going to correct you there. Not that I'm here to correct, but as in, like, not just the new ones, us older ones, not even just parents. The some, it's the carers, it's the people that are around. So you have the opportunity, because we always talk about village, community. You remember you were out, if you did something, you come home, your parents are telling you what you did out, and you're thinking, how do they know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's because other
Yeah.
people, you thought at the time they were just gossiping, but they were looking out for you. As in, like,
Yeah,
it could
that's
be
right.
whether you're in bad company or something that you may have been up to, you shouldn't have been up to, or whatever the case might be. Whereas now we're very much, to me, a case of like, we may see something, and sometimes, I'm being honest, it's our own children, and we'll see stuff and we'll pretend like we never see it.
Yeah, yeah, true.
We pretend like
Yeah,
we don't know
true.
what's going on until certain things happen, and then it's like, you know. So very much, we collectively, and it doesn't matter where you live, we should be looking out for each other's children, because that is your child also as well.
That's right,
And the
100%.
whole-
And that's one of the things that I'm very serious about pushing in the books that I do, is this that, like you say, that sense of community, and that just sense of caring, and no, just about the people, that your neighbors and people that are around you, your siblings, your family, and not even your family, just the community members, and supporting each other. And you know what I mean? And I think that's mainly, even though I talk about a lot of different things in terms of like group economics and business and financial literacy and stuff, the main core thing is supporting each other. I think that's one of the biggest things that's lacking. And I think that's, you know, that kind of goes way back if you go into history and stuff in terms of the black diaspora. But yeah, I think, you know, if we can get that message to our children, that I think that'll be the game changer, I think, in terms of them coming together, because they're brilliant. They're the young people, children, the young people of the day today are just so phenomenal, like, you know, the stuff that they're doing. And if they were just to come together with that, and you know, who knows what could happen in the future for them. So
I can see Shenel itching to, if producer can bring Shenel on, I just want to say something, and Shenel, you'll be able to. Greetings, Shenel.
Hi, Shenel.
We've never spoken before.
Never.
I as well. Hi, darling. Hi. I can see you kind of like, I've got something to say. I've got something to add. What do you want to say? Did you want to say something?
No, I'll wait. I just wanted to make sure that the technology was working. I didn't want to come on and there was all, you know.
Oh, that is absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. So as I was sort of saying, as in like we, when I say we, it's the collective we. It's not just us on the screen here or a few organizations out there. Everybody can do a little something, right? That's how I see it. It's about people like, I haven't got time, I haven't got the money, I haven't got this, I haven't got that. And I'm like, whoa. Because if we don't find the time, right? If we don't find the time, things that are going on now that everybody's complaining about and moaning about, and the young people this and the young people that, I want to see exactly what we're talking about, Jeremy, the positive things that they're doing. That doesn't make the news, does it? The positive things that they're doing.
Yeah.
Hear about those sort of things. Hear the negative, right? So everybody's, the young people this, that. But is there anything that you can do to help and support, rather than moaning and groaning about whatever's going on? What could you do? And that's where I started personally. Like my journey sort of like within the community was like 25 years ago. And I used to be amongst people that, you know, you moan about anything and everything. It don't matter what it is, the school, this, the that. And I'm like, but what am I actually doing? The school were crying out for parent governors at the time. And we're all like, yeah, they're this, they're that. And I'm like, but they need governors. Why don't you become a governor? And that's what I did. I became a parent governor, and to get more involved. I want change. So how is change going to happen unless you get involved? Yeah. We all want change. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah. And the thing is, what I was going to say, because for some people it might seem daunting, because everyone can see what's happening in the communities and what's happening with the young people and just whatever issues that's happening. And it can seem quite daunting, because you think to yourself, how am I going to fix it? Well, you're not going to fix it by yourself. Just like you said, just like everyone's here for a reason. Everyone's got a gift. So, you know, I think the thing is to focus into that gift that you have, stay in your lane and just do that, and then collaborate with other people. And we're all different parts of the puzzle. So, you know, we're not, you know, Dee's not going to do everything. I'm not going to do everything. You know, Shenel's not going to do everything. Like, but together we can create something. You know, that's going to make a change, rather than like you say, just complaining
Yeah.
about the situation. Yeah.
We all have a part to play, don't we? We all have a part to play in making the change.
Yeah, 100%.
Most definitely. And I see that the young people see us as moaners and groaners. And as I said, they do a lot of talking, but we don't walk. They don't see us bringing about change. They don't see us making it. Well, there's some of us. I tell a lie. There's some of us, but a lot of us are just kind of just observers. And then when things happen, what they do is always we're pointing the finger at other people. What is it they say when you point? Three fingers are pointing back at yourself, right?
Yeah.
When you're pointing at somebody, three of those fingers are pointing back at you. So what are you doing to bring about change? So I could chat to you forever, Mr. Salmon.
I haven't mentioned my the second book that's out right now.
I know I wasn't letting you go yet because I need you to talk about that, and very briefly also as well talk about Leah's up and coming new shop venture as well, please.
Oh, okay. So yeah, let me start with them. So I mentioned the storybook Round and Round, the group economics for children. So what was like I was saying about feedback, a lot of the carers and parents and teachers were saying that they really like the storybook, and they just wanted something to continue the conversation, kind of go into a little bit more in depth about what is group economics, what does that look like, how do we practice it, how do we do it practically. And how do we start businesses? What kind of things do we do to start businesses? So that's why I created the activity book. So this is the Round and Round. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh,
activity book. And in the activity book, it's it's just doing those things, just talking about what is group economics, how can group economics help a community, how can you practice group economics, my first business ideas, business, building a team, your passions and skills, logo branding, marketing, cost, and just different things that I've picked up as being a business owner and that kind of thing. So this is the book number one. I had so much content I was going to put into number one. I've got more, so I'm going to do book number two as well. And,
wow! Oh my gosh!
And what I've just finished now is the coloring book. So this is the Round and Round coloring book, group economics for kids. Fab. Yeah.
So now's the time to be getting those out.
Sorry, say that again?
Now's the time to be getting those out. Holiday time coming up.
Yes, yeah. So it's out, it's available on Amazon and on my website, mybabablearning.com. I'm going to be out doing a lot of doing workshops. I did a workshop at the Legacy Centre, which used to be the Drum, which is a big centre in Birmingham. On the weekend, and I'm going to be doing more of those. Been talking to a lot of teachers, and just getting it out there. And I think it's really beneficial. I think this is something children need to know. Do you know what I'm saying? And with me, it's just I'm not trying to show them or teach them anything. I'm just kind of guiding them towards it. And I have faith in their brilliance. They'll get the information and they'll take it further than I could think. So I'm not trying to tell them what to do, but just kind of give them. And I think that's generally my kind of style of homeschooling as well. As long as you can put them in front of different situations, different environments, different ideas, you'll be amazed. Like if you don't put any too much on, on top of it, you'll be amazed what they come out with. And a lot of the time it's a lot more than you could ever think of. So and I think as adults, we should have a little bit more trust in our young people. Like you say, we know how to complain about them. They're not doing this and they're not doing that, but I think they're brilliant. I think they're excellent.
We don't give them the praise that they deserve.
Yeah.
We really truly don't. We truly don't. So, oh my gosh, I'm going to link you with somebody. I don't know. Do you know Angel Miller?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Is she No Ordinary Bookshop? Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think I know. I haven't met her before, but I know of her, though. Angel Miller, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do a link because she's got a bookshop and she's doing a load of stuff during the summer and what have you. So I'm going to link you both. So that
I did speak to her. When I was donating books.
Oh right, yes.
Yeah, I donated some books to her as well.
I gave her your details.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. One last thing, Shenel, I'm coming to you any moment now, my love. What is the missus up to? What's this new shop she's got? Is it a new shop or somewhere that she's now
Right, yeah.
doing
So she had a clinic, Naturally You clinic in a place called Erdington, which is in Birmingham, where she would do live blood analysis and she should do a lot of just helping people with their health, general health and nutrition and different ways they can use food to help their health and stuff. And we found a really nice big space here where we live in Wolverhampton, and it's always been her dream to have like a health center, like just a big health center where she just brings loads of different practitioners in that are just in different different parts of health and stuff and into one place. So we found the space. It's a lovely space. We're decorating it up, we're painting it and making it look really nice and stuff, and we're gonna have the launch very, very soon. So yeah, so that's what's been happening. So in that space I think she's gonna be doing like a lot of different events and yeah, it's just gonna be a lot of stuff, but you're definitely gonna see it. It's gonna be out there.
I will do, because I literally booked for Father's Day. I booked the blood for my husband.
Oh, excellent!
So we're gonna book it for obviously there when you open up. So yeah,
okay,
you'll see this soon anyway.
Yeah, and for people that haven't done that, I hate like needles and stuff. It's not hard at all. It's just like this little I think they call it a lance. They take a little drop of the blood, but seeing it underneath the microscope and on the screen, you can see your blood and you can see everything in there. And she's been studying it for so many years now. She's able to tell you exactly what this is and that is, and she can tell if you're not drinking enough water. She can tell if you're, through your blood, you can see a lot of things from, but obviously if she was here, she'd be able to explain it a lot, lot better than me. But yeah, it's definitely something worth doing, even if you just do it once, just to see, what your health's like, and just for a checkup. Or
exactly.
Like yeah.
Exactly. So I'm going to have to say bye for now, Mr. Salmon.
Okay, bye.
See you soon. I'm going to get you back on. Obviously, this is, as I sort of said, we're streaming live now, but people that don't catch it now can catch it on replay and catch up. If you get to hang around, the young lady that is on currently now, as I said, I've never met her before. All I know is some of the works that this young lady is doing. So it was a must for me to get her onto the show. So for now, Jeremy, take care, darling.
Okay, you too. Take care.
All right, thanks a lot, darling. All right, bye.
Bye.
Shenel.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Excellent. Thank you. You don't even want to know. If you read the messages, all the messages are on there are telling me not to sing. I don't know why. Okay, maybe I do know why, but
maybe you do know why. Yeah,
they're out of order.
Maybe you're in denial.
But do you know what it is? It's envy.
Yeah, they're jealous.
That's all it is, Shenel.
They're jealous. They're hating on you.
Yes, there's plenty of them haters out there. I'm telling you, plenty of them. I seem to know them all because they're all messaging, don't sing. But yes, so I know that much of what you do, and I literally mean that much, because obviously you sent me your bio. I've not read it. Why am I going to read it?
Yeah. Because
little do you know, I need to peel back so that I can understand where you are and what you're doing now. And this is, we are streaming live Facebook, on Simply Deez events, our page, on Pamtango Radio. We're also live on YouTube. So people out there, if any comments or any questions for Shenel, and obviously our previous guests, Jeremy and Lady Munya, please post and we'll see if we can get them answered for you. I need you to peel back, Shenel. I couldn't even sort of say, I don't know if you're local. I don't know if you're born in Luton. I do not know. So you peel back. We got time. Don't you worry about that. start sharing your story. When I stop you, it's nothing personal. I'll be like, rewind that because I want you to come again.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, I am based in Luton, born and bred here. Yeah. Yeah. So there's so many people who I've kind of like have been name dropped and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know this person, and they're like, how do you not know them if you were born and raised in Luton, you know? But yeah, I was born here. My mum now lives in London. But yeah, it's just me and my sister kind of here in Luton. So I suppose you want to know kind of how I came across, how I started Ebonista, why I started it.
When I say peel back, I know you think you said you're born in Luton and that's it. Did you not hear me speaking to Jeremy?
You want to know the nitty gritty, the
how
hum.
was school?
Okay.
All of this is formed where you are.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So yeah. So like I said, I was born in Luton, raised in Luton, lived here all my life. Went to school here. You know, all my friends and all that are here. I'm a mum. I've got 3 children. So I've got a 22-year-old son, 13-year-old daughter, and a 5-year-old son as well. I've been with my current partner for about 9 years, coming up 9 years. I have my own personal experiences with abuse, childhood sexual abuse, sexual assault, which kind of led me on to doing this. I was a single mother for a long time with my oldest 2 children before I met my current partner. So yeah, studied here, grew up here. Obviously, I'm raising my children here. Kind of have a bit of love-hate relationship with this town. Just, I think maybe I think when I was young, Luton was amazing. There was so much to do, so much for the kids, so many places to go.
When you say when you was young, I'm not asking you your age, but when you say when you was young, you know, what we talking? When
I was a teenager, like I'm in my 40s now, so when I was a teenager, Luton was lively for me. You know, we had loads of places to go, and now my son's got to travel out to go anywhere. There's no clubs, there's no youth clubs. You know, there's really not a lot going on. So I do have like a bit of a love-hate with this town, but I can't leave it for some reason. Something holds me here. Definitely. And now I've launched my business here as well. Well, yeah, definitely. I am here for a reason. There's a lot of work for me to do. Definitely. So yeah, I've spent most of my career.
Sorry, I think there's a delay.
Yeah, there is a delay.
We are talking, yeah. We are talking domestic abuse, domestic violence.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to put that out there. So if there are people watching, it's 8:15 now. We are going to talk things. The show is called Real Talk.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to go sort of anything too kind of like deep or what have you in that, but just letting people be aware of that. So should there be any triggers or anything along those lines, just letting them know up front. So you just didn't decide. Tell us about the project first of all, and then we'll probably end up peeling back a bit if that's okay.
Yeah. So the Ebonista project is a project that I founded in 2020 during lockdown, actually. And actually, the whole idea of this project came about while I had COVID. I had COVID in Easter 2020. Not bad enough to be hospitalized, but I was in a pretty bad way. I was in bed for basically 2 weeks. And it was while I was in my sick bed, shall we say, that it was like, no, now is the time. Now is the time to do this, to make a move. Because it's funny, like you were speaking to Jeremy before about, you know, us talking about things we're not happy with, we want to make the change. And I was kind of in that position for a number of years. And it kind of got to the point where, do I keep complaining about things not being right? talking about the changes that I want to see, or do I get up and do something about it? And in 2020, it kind of came to the head, and it was like, no, now is the time. Now I need to really, really do this, get on with the ideas that I kind of had in me. I needed to kind of manifest them and make them happen. So like I said, I do have my own personal experiences with abuse. I have been in relationships with abusive men. Like I mentioned about childhood sexual abuse, rape, those sorts of things. So that has kind of spurred me as well. I've tried different career paths over the years. I worked in property management. I was a makeup artist. I worked on like a luxury counter. But what would happen when I was on the counter is women would come, not just to like buy a lipstick, they would come and start telling me their stories, telling me about abuse that they were being subjected to, talking to me about divorce, things they were going through. And it was just like, you know, when you have these kind of moments and you're like, am I really meant to be selling makeup? Or is there something more that I'm meant to be doing? Is there something I'm meant to be? Is there something I've been called for, sort of thing, you know?
Yes.
And it just kept happening more and more often. It was getting ridiculous. Like women were literally coming to me. It was like a therapy session on the makeup counter. And I applied to do some volunteering at a local organisation with women who were sexually exploited and sex workers. And so I did some volunteering, but it wasn't deep enough for me. Like I knew I wanted to do more. So then I started working for a local charity, a domestic abuse support service. And I was there for a few years, and there was just so many things I didn't quite agree with, or things that I think I would like to do differently. And integrity is a big thing for me. So it was always kind of like, you know, some things really, really wrestled with me. And like I was saying, in 2020, it kind of came to a head where it was like, no, now I need to make the change now and stop. You know, it's almost like you're banging your head against a brick wall. You know, I felt like I was forcing myself to sit at this table when it's like, I can actually bring my own table. I can build my own table. I can do this. You know, and especially I think as well around helping Black women. The things that I saw and see now, the things that I hear from other professionals, Black women, we're the most unprotected on the planet. We are the most unprotected. We're misunderstood. We're judged. We're misrepresented. And I just wanted to do something where I could really advocate for women like me, women that look like me, women from the same culture as me, you know, without alienating any other women, you know. So with Ebonista, we will support all women, but as we're led by Black women, Black female survivors, it's understanding that culture, it's being culturally sensitive, it's not, you know, just ticking a box to say, we help BAME, which is a term that I absolutely hate. You know, it's about really, really understanding and being there and walking with the women. So with Ebonista, we support women. We provide emotional and practical support to women and children that have been subjected to domestic abuse, sexual violence, wherever they are on that journey. So some of our women are still with their perpetrator, their abusive partner. Some women left years ago, but are still dealing with the after effects of being in that situation for a long time, still dealing with the trauma. So we basically walk alongside our clients at whatever stage they are in their journey. And so it might be a case of providing emotional support, you know, listening. Sometimes I have clients call me just to rant, just to vent. You know, some are having a bad day and they want someone to talk to. It may be practical things like helping them get a food bank, putting them in touch with an immigration solicitor, supporting them with reporting to the police, attending at court, things like that. So it really covers so many different things because domestic abuse kind of impacts all areas of your life. And this is kind of what people don't understand if they haven't maybe been through it, experienced it, or knows, you know, been close with someone who has, how the effects, it's like a ripple effect, and it's devastating. It is devastating to see the effects. So yeah, that is us. So we have a helpline, and that's really where it all started. So even though I founded the company in 2020, we didn't officially launch until April last year, and we launched with our helpline. So women could call, get advice, other professionals could call and speak to us. We could do things like refuge searches if women needed to flee, and just really just being that voice at the end of the phone, just listening. You know, what does she want? What does she need? Looking, you know, obviously balancing that with safeguarding and stuff as well, because a lot of women say they feel like they're not listened to, they feel like they're not heard, they're not valued, and so that's a really big thing for us, is listening to actually what do you want. You know, a lot of the time it's very easy to say to a woman, oh, we'll just leave. It's not that easy, otherwise we would all just leave, wouldn't we? And that might not be what she wants to do at that time. So it's kind of listening to what she wants and unpicking that, stripping it back. Okay, what do we do? How can we support you? How can we help you to stay safe, and your children, you know, if you've got children, whatever that situation is. So we started with the helpline. We also run like a variety of groups via Zoom and face-to-face. And these groups are specifically written for women who've been subjected to abuse. So we run things like the Freedom Programme, which is a 12-week programme, and it looks at different tactics used by abusive men, things like gaslighting, coercion, manipulation, you know, as well as things like your physical violence, your bullying and all of that sort of stuff, sexual control, all those sorts of things. We run groups like a sexual violence recovery toolkit, so specifically for women who have been sexually assaulted and those sorts of things. And we also run programs for primary age children, teenagers, and also male perpetrators who want to change their behaviours as well. A lot of services really focus on the women and helping the women at crisis, which is great. But if we're really not addressing kind of what, you know, men's thought processes and what they're doing, how will things ever change? If we're not teaching our youngsters, you know, what healthy relationships look like, what are good behaviours, what are poor behaviours, what will ever change? I'll be doing this forever, you know, working with women at crisis point. You know, so we're kind of like trying to do the whole kind of family approach to tackle it that way.
Because
so
it's
yeah,
not just,
that is not just, can't hear.
it's not just sorry, it's not just the victim, as in, say for instance, if it's the mother, it's not just her, it's a case of it's the children, it's the extended family, and exactly what you say, the ripple is much bigger than we know. Much bigger, because then, you know, how are is it having an impact on the children at school, on their friendships, on their relationships? You know, how is it impacting the survivor? How is she at work? You know, financially, how is, you know, it's everything. It ripples into everything, all areas of your life. Wow. So this calling of yours, you could resist it. You can only resist certain things for a certain length of time, you know, and you'll do. And then even from what you've said, even when you were a makeup artist, and now that I've just written that sort of like down, you know, they've kind of got, say for instance, like at barbershops and things like that, some of them, they're teaching like mental health or learning the signs of abuse and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What you've just said is something like, yeah, you could be a shop assistant, and as in like whether it be makeup, that sort of stuff, you're then getting up close and personal, and that is the opportunity again, where if you know certain things in the signs, you can then be able to signpost and, you know,
exactly
assist also as well.
And a lot
are
of
you
the,
amazed?
A lot of the time when women are subject Say that again.
Sorry, yeah, it's a delay. I said, are you amazed as in terms of, you know, I've sort of like seen posted, obviously during COVID, the statistics in terms of domestic abuse. We did an event the other day. It was an online event. Shelley's here.
Mm-hmm.
The statistics were, yeah, off the chart. I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, that Luton was really, really high.
Yeah, and remember, this is stats for people who report.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, not everybody. No. And, you know, a lot of women don't report. A lot of women don't even realise they're being abused, you know, and this is another reason why Ebonista was so important as well. It's that response of professionals when you finally pluck up the courage almost to disclose to someone what's going on at home, you know, what's going on behind closed doors. That takes courage to do that. But the way you're responded to and the way you're treated by whoever it is that you disclose that to has such a massive impact on the rest of your journey. We deal with a lot of clients who have been blamed, you know, victim blaming. Well, what did you do to wind him up? You know, you're not protecting your children. Why didn't you leave? Why didn't you do this? You should have done that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, hang on a minute. Why is the onus on us to keep ourselves safe? Why is the onus not on the man to not be abusive? You know, and I know that men are, you know, women abuse men as well, but it's so disproportionate. The statistics for women is 1 in 3. You know, 1 in 3. And when you look specifically at Black women, it's over 80% of us have directly been abused or know someone that's been abused. Whereas with men, it's 1 in 6, 1 in 7. So it disproportionately affects women.
So in terms of how busy are you?
We're busy. We are very busy, which is a shame. You know, in one hand, it's good that women are reaching out for help.
Yeah.
You know, they're speaking out. But on the other hand, we don't want to be busy. You know, we don't want to be busy. We want to break these cycles. You know, but like I said, unless we start tackling it from a young age, it will just continue. Because domestic abuse is rooted in power and control. You know, and the gender stereotypes. So when we talk about violence against women and girls and domestic abuse against women, it's about power and control. A lot of the time people will say it's because, you know, the man is stressed at work, or he had a bad childhood, or he's got PTSD, or it's when he drinks alcohol. No, it's because he wants power and control over that woman. He's making a choice to do whatever it is, whether it be physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial control, sexual control. It's a choice he makes. You know, and for so many years, we've kind of, society has made excuses for it, you know, and kind of made it normal that the man is superior to the woman, which reinforces their idea that they should control us.
Are you going into schools?
I want to. So I've reached out to quite a few of the schools in Luton. Because we really want to get in there. We really want to get in there and do some work. With a lot of them, it's funding, isn't it? So they're funding for those activities, but
it's where that money gets spent, isn't it? So what we're talking about,
where they
ultimately,
choose to spend it.
Ultimately, we're potentially talking about lives, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're talking about lives. So that investment now will save so much in the long run.
Yes, 100%. 100%. I mean,
You
we,
talking
like I
high
was saying,
school?
we have a, we run programs for high school age, but we also do one for primary school age. So obviously it's more language appropriate, more child friendly, and it's not so much focused on abuse. It's more about emotions. How are you feeling? How does this sort of behavior make you feel? How does that sort of behavior make you feel? You know, things like that. So it's more obviously age appropriate for them. So yeah, from primary school right up is where we need to be going. But like you said, it's where they place the importance of their funding. Say that again?
Have you been into any schools?
No. Nope. No.
So do you know of any other organisations, not asking you to mention any, doing what you do?
There are services. There are a lot of services like around Bedfordshire, kind of providing support. But I don't know that they do it the way we do it. I don't think they do it the way we do it. We are very person-centered. What you need, we're walking with you in what you need. I think because we're such a small organisation, and because we're a community interest company rather than a charity, we don't have as much red tape, so we can have that more hands-on approach. You know, we do things outside of the box every day for our clients because we don't have that kind of that red tape that we need to stick to, and that's what I hate. Hence why I wanted to start my own thing. And it's got to be person-centered. It has to be. How can I support you the same way as your neighbour would need supporting? It makes no sense. We're all individuals. We all are different ages, different cultures, different backgrounds. We all need something different. So it really is about meeting that woman where she is and listening to what she wants, you know, rather than coming in with, oh yeah, we need to do this, we need to do that, you need to do this, you need to do that, I'm going to refer you here. No, what do you want? You know, what do you want from us? How can we help you? How can we support you?
I want to, I'm trying to get so much. I've got somebody who's struggling to get on, the next guest, she's struggling to get on. But at the same time, my producer, Shelley, can you come on, please? All what you're saying, because I know you've obviously joined us when you joined us, Shenel, but way back 24 odd years ago, I live in Luton, and I was one of those people that used to moan about anything and everything. And then the parent governor started getting involved in the community, helping out with events. And it's like, don't mind helping, but I want to do things kind of like, you know, you've got a way that you just want to kind of do stuff that's different, that's whatever. So I totally hear. Do you know what I mean? I totally hear what you're saying. So regardless of other people, it's not like a case of things that I do are exclusive at all. People are doing certain things, but they do not have your DNA, your stamp to make it the unique service that it is. But Shelley, obviously in domestic abuse, and we've run a couple of online workshops since April, and the information that you were sharing, as in like just, I know you had a load of stats.
That's what I was just trying to find.
And I'm asking you other stuff as well at the same time. Sorry.
While when I was looking at the stats, they had the thing that came out that was what everyone, as you say, everyone that's actually reported all these details, and then you had the same stats that was from people that are going in and getting help. So from these the crisis centres and all of those kind of charities, where they have to then say how many people have come in and taken up beds and all that kind of thing. And there's such a huge difference in that number. And also the other huge difference in those numbers was the fact that some women are not understanding that what they're experiencing does actually come underneath domestic abuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you'll get the thing of husband's just a bit grumpy, I don't have access to my money, but my parents were like that. And it's like, well, no, you have to have access to your own money. You can go in and out of your house by yourself. You can decide what you're going to wear.
Yeah.
And on all that manipulation and things, they don't actually realise that is classed as the whole thing, and you can actually report it. And some of the stats that we then saw, I mean, as Dee was saying earlier on, going through COVID, you had some of the stats drop down because they haven't had that they could be safe at home, and some of the stats shot up because they weren't safe and had to stay at home. And it's scary that some people just still assume that domestic abuse is domestic violence, that it is the hitting thing. And it's not, that's just one part of it. And like this coercive control and things, people just don't think that comes as classed as it.
Yeah, this is it's such it's like an ongoing battle trying to explain to people that domestic abuse is not just violence. You know, some women will say things like, well, he doesn't hit me, so it's not abuse. And, you know, when we support women reporting to the police or, you know, speaking to social services and things, it's like, well, I don't have access to my money. He times how long I'm at the shop for, and they still kind of like can't get their head around the fact that this is actually abuse. Someone is trying to have power and control over them. That's abuse. And still trying to explain what, you know, coercion, manipulation, gaslighting, how these things are, how they affect us emotionally and the effects that they have. So it's still trying to explain to people that abuse is not just physical. There's so much more to it than that. You know, there was a time where, you know, I've had clients say, well, the police have asked them, well, where's your bruises? So you have to have bruises for it to be abuse now, you know. And that's where we need to really like just raise so much awareness about it and educate, and so that people can understand, you know, understand what those signs are, red flags. You know, in one of the programs that we run, one I did yesterday, the session was about red flags and those kind of like early warning signs. When you meet someone new and, you know, you're just getting into a relationship with them, some of those red flags that you can maybe look out for, that don't necessarily mean that this partner is going to be abusive, but it's just things for you to be aware of. Just those signs.
Yeah,
and as well, what you were saying back to COVID as well, like when we were in lockdown, for some women, you know, like doing school run and going out to work was a bit of respite. You know, being able to go and do the food shop or go to the gym was a bit of respite. That was their safe time away from him. And then in lockdown, we're all locked in together. You know, there's no break, there's no time away, there's no space, there's no time to kind of regather yourself before you have to get back into that fire, you know. So yeah.
And I think quite a lot of people are surprised that they go to the police for other things, or they go to a charity or a helpline or something for other things, and they always seem shocked that part of it is the fact. I mean, you say about red flags at the beginning. When we had our meeting, the girls were kind of shocked that the fact that a red flag would be if they were over attentive. They're forever showering you with gifts and everything else.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're not being with your friends, you're not going to your family. And that is like the domestic abuse. That is,
The
they want you
isolation.
for themselves. Yeah. They've pulled you
Yeah.
away. They're dragging you
Yeah.
off to do other things. And the girls were shocked
Yeah.
that could actually be classed as something like
Yeah.
as part of that.
And that's the thing. That's where the education comes in, because when you're at that stage in the relationship, you think, oh my gosh, I've been there. He loves me. Oh my gosh, I've met such a nice guy. He's showering me with all these expensive gifts. He wants to be with me all the time. He's on my phone all the time. He wants me to FaceTime him. He loves me that much. He doesn't want to be apart from me. Then you start changing your routine. So you're not going out with your friends. You're not going to see your family. You're not having that coffee with your mum. You don't realize how he's isolating you. And again, it's all about education. All about education.
What I've found is, and obviously we did this in the last couple of months, was just talking to friends, just talking to people that as soon as you say domestic abuse, I think it just conjures up certain things in all of our minds, different things.
Yeah.
And what I class, Shelley, you, and whoever else are all different. Do you know what I mean? Are all different. And some, if I attend that workshop, that might be telling people that I am being abused and that's why I'm attending it. We were trying to say that it's educating. And I think that's the reason some people didn't attend. It's because maybe it's like, well, I'm attending because maybe it's, and not wanting other people to know. And so many different reasons, but there were some people that we were hoping attended, but didn't. And I think that may have been the reason why, because you don't want to admit to it. You don't want to. And I'm talking grown people.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And there's such there's still such a stigma, still such a shame around it, still so much, victim blaming. So if I speak up, what are people going to think of me? I've always been a strong woman. What are people going to think? They're going to think I'm weak. Are my kids going to get taken away? There's all these thought processes that come with it. That's why so many women don't speak out for a long, long time. Some never.
I mean, some things were revealed.
We did in
that's that delay, isn't it? Some things were revealed that people have held on to for over 40 years.
Yeah, definitely. We did a pop-up shop. We took part in a pop-up shop in Westfield in May. So we were selling like our clothing line, our branded merchandise. But what they did was they gave us like an area, like a safe space where people could come and get advice and disclose, if they wanted to one of our staff. And you would be surprised how many women came up and were just looking at the hoodies and t-shirts and started just like telling us about these things that happened to them like 10, 15, 20 years ago. And they were just out shopping. So it's just, providing opportunities for people to speak up when they feel ready to.
Fab. We're going to need that number from you, Shenel. You said there's a helpline number. We're going to need that number.
The helpline number,
so we can put it on the screen so that we can share. I'm just thinking, Shell, she could have been in the hub. There's lots of different things that we organise, Shenel.
How do I put it?
What, in the chat? In the chat, or even if, yes, there's a private chat.
Yeah,
you
I'm
can put it in there, or you can actually just put it on the
Yeah, because it won't let me
And
put
that
it
way
on the
then-
comment.
All right. Yeah, if you did it in private chat, I'll just share it
do
over.
it in these,
Cool.
and we will
I'll
get
put the
that
email
out.
address as well.
Yes, please. This is one of those for now, Shenels. This is one of those for now, because there is so much more. And I'd love to sort of like, we do a lot of connecting at Simply Deez. We're connectors.
Okay.
We are connectors. We've got a health and wellbeing event actually on the 16th of July, which we are going to talk about at some stage, which is next Saturday. It's at Future's House in Marsh Farm. It's 10 till 2. It's just a drop-in.
Okay.
It's just a drop-in, but let me know if you'd be interested in attending. And when I say attending, I don't mean as in just coming along and visiting. I'm talking about actually having a stand.
Yeah. Is
Is
that the 16th?
Yeah.
The 16th?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. The space, it's free. There's no charge. There's no charge for you to have the stand, and there is no charge for people to come in, because there's, I don't know, I think we've got something like 25 stands currently.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
sorts. We're going to kind of run through them a little bit later on, but I think it would be really, if you can, or representation of yourself there on the day. We'll chat. We'll chat tomorrow or so and see what else we can connect you with and who, and let's get you into some schools to make a difference.
That's where we want to go. Definitely.
We will do our utmost to make that happen. Thank you so much for taking time out for being on the show. What do you want to leave us with? Because obviously I'm going to say goodbye to you now, but in terms of, we've got people, they may not be watching now, they may watch later on. There may be people around, so they're not watching, deliberately not watching, because I don't want others to see that they're listening to what you're saying. What do you want to share with those that are on? Because it could be my friend, it could be my neighbour, it could be my sister, my work colleague, and needs some form of help, or I don't know. What can you leave us with to, I don't know, just to help really? Apart from, I know you've got the helpline and that, but I mean, just share something with us.
I would say, do not suffer alone. Okay, you're not alone. Your voice matters. Everyone has the right to live a life free from abuse, free from harm. Everyone has the right to live a safe life. Reach out. That's all I would say, is reach out. Even if, you just want someone to speak to, just reach out. That's what I'd say. Don't suffer alone. It might be the smallest thing that, niggling at you. It may be years, decades of abuse that you've been living with. It's never too late to reach out, never too late.
That is fab. Thank you so much. I'm going to get you back on.
Thank you for having me.
Honestly, thank you so much. I've got a guest that can't get on, but I've actually got a guest that is going to sort of like make my life hell for probably the next hour. So he's waiting there. I've been doing the show for about 4 years, Shenel, and I kind of like, I think I've invited a guest that I wish I hadn't invited. It's all right. I've told him that. He knows.
He knows. Does he know how you? Well, he knows now. He knows how you feel now.
Oh yeah. Look. Oh God, blimey. He's getting. He's sitting on his throne. That's it. Oh, flip flops. Oh, there you are. Greetings, sir. Greetings.
Greetings, ladies and How you doing?
We're
Hello.
doing really well, Fred. We're doing really well. I can see your armpit.
That's all right, man. At least I can't see up my nose. So long as you can't see up my nose, that's the main thing.
That's right. That's right. Were you listening to this young lady, Rudy?
I was listening to what Shenel had to say. Good evening, Shenel.
Hello, Rudy.
How are you?
Luton, isn't she?
I was actually brought up in a household of domestic violence. So I can identify on what it is to be a youngster growing up in that kind of toxic environment. There's so many different reasons as to why. We could go back as far as 400 years, but people would say that we've moved on. All right, which is fair enough to a degree, I reckon. But it's like, where does it stem from? Where's it coming from? Why is it someone's partner feels so low on self-esteem that they feel that they have to come home and exercise their authority in such a violent manner? It also depends on what that individual saw as a child growing up as well.
It's all rooted in power and control, and that feeling of superiority. You know, I am above you. I can control you. I can tell you how to spend your money. I can tell you when you can and can't go out. I can tell you can wear that red lipstick or you can't wear that red lipstick. You know, I control how the children are disciplined or what.
I go back to, why do they feel that way, or why are they thinking, or why are they behaving that way? I'm not justifying anything. All right, but we're kind of like talking about the final outcome as of to why and how. Can you see the early signs, and how can you coach your partner into going into mediation? All of these things. It's not an easy one.
The way society has it, the way society is designed, isn't it, is that men are on top and women are on the bottom.
I don't think that's solely by design. I really don't. I think that modern technology plays a big role.
Come from, and the kind of gender stereotypes that society kind of has played into for years and years and years and years and centuries and centuries. You know, it's all in power and control.
I don't wholeheartedly agree with you, because
what do you think
at the end of the day, it was after World War II, so to speak, that because the men were not there, that women came into the workplace. It was due to the technologies, the white goods, i.e. the washing machine, i.e. the sanitary towel, i.e. all of these little things, that meant that a woman's role, what used to be a woman's role, changed because technology came in and it assisted in the domestic chores that needed to be done. But if you go further back, the question then becomes, right, who stays at home and looks after the children, and who goes out and gets a meal? That wasn't a thing that man said, oh, I want this to happen. That's not something that a man just kind of just decided that's how it's going to be.
I don't know, because I think like when say the men went off to fight in the war and stuff, and then the women were left to kind of run the country as well. You know, we went out, we worked, we did teaching, we did engineering, we did whatever was needed to do to run the country. Then when the men came back, it was like, all right, well, women, thank you for your help. Get back in the kitchen now. You know, give up your career.
Thank you. No.
Give up your career and go back in the house.
I totally disagree.
And then what they did was say that women that work.
That is everything that has been played out. That men just came back and went, thank you very much, go back in the kitchen. No, they didn't. Let me finish. There had to be an adjustment.
Of course, there would have to be an adjustment, but it's the way it was done. And then what they did was make women feel like, you know, well, if you're working, you know, then your children are gonna not grow up in the great way, and women need to be home nurturing, and men
women feel that way, as opposed to men making women feel that way.
And then men were made, you know, the men were made to feel that they're up here
I
And
don't
that's
agree
where
with
this feeling of power and control comes from.
I still don't agree with you.
So what is the cause of domestic abuse if it's not power and control?
Wait, hold on a second. A minute ago, you just not blurted out. A minute ago, you explained, yeah, that men came home from World War II and shoved women back into the kitchen, and I don't agree with you.
What happened?
When that happened, okay, there was a divide. Then people come back together, and now they have to make an adjustment.
Yeah.
They have to make an adjustment because things were the way that they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think it was by design. Personally, I think that's just the way that it was. It wasn't a case of men just going to war. Remember, men was going to get food. Okay, they weren't just going.
Yeah, I mean, I've simplified. Yeah.
So,
but still.
So it's not solely a case of this is how men want it to be, because not all men think like that. My dear, not all men think like that.
I'm not saying all men do. I'm not saying that all men do, but I'm talking about society as a whole. Society as a whole has made it that the man is more superior, hence why, things like there's the pay gap and all those sorts of things. So it's not just from, domestic abuse didn't just stem from after the Second World War.
No, domestic abuse. You're going to find that domestic abuse you can find that in institutional racism. You can find where domestic abuse came from. Yeah. So is that because of man?
What do you mean? Is it because of man?
Well, when you talk about institutional racism, that's not just solely because of men.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not talking about institutional racism.
No, but you were talking about domestic violence and how domestic violence comes about. A lot of the domestic violence that I witnessed during the 80s and the 70s was because of how the Caribbean men who came over to this country, when they were back home, they had their position. When they came here, they found themselves in a situation where they were being they found people's knees on their throat. They couldn't exercise themselves. They couldn't express anything. Right? As I said right from the beginning, I don't condone it. I do not condone it. I'm trying because the thing is, as I said, I grew up in it. I saw my dad, and I watched how my dad treated my mother. Yeah, I had to see his dad. To understand where my dad got it from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you've also, I mean, you haven't even mentioned, what about the 7% of men who are domestically abused at home?
I did talk about men, but my service, I did speak about men, but it is disproportionately affecting women, and my service is a female service. It supports women.
Okay.
We don't specialize in supporting men. That's not our needs. But I mean, yes, we can go back to, the Caribbean house. I grew up and I've seen domestic abuse. I've been there. I've been there. I am a survivor as well. And I think people still, you have a choice as to how regardless of where you've come from, what you saw, happen to your parents. My son has seen his dad hit me. So is that now an excuse for him to hit his girlfriend? No, he knows better. He knows, I saw that happen to my mum. I don't want that to happen to I don't want to do that to my girlfriend. I don't want that to happen to my daughter. So we change the cycle. We teach our children, this is how we should be. We set that example for them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's always going to be the same. It's always going to be, nothing will ever change,
I don't disagree. I think that we've moved on a hell of a lot with people like yourself who come forward and offer services and a way out for people who are being domestically abused in that respect. I really do. I think I look at my daughter who is married with children of her own and the way in which she relates and her boyfriend relate, and it's totally different to my generation and my dad's generation. So what I am seeing is I am seeing incremental changes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because change does not happen overnight.
No, of course not.
But we live in the present, we live in the now. So it is a question of what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
Which is what Shenel is doing.
Yeah,
which is what Shenel is doing, and it is about.
But I don't stand by that thing of men just totally felt that they were in control and they want. I don't agree with that at all.
That's okay though. Do you know what I mean? That's okay though. I'm going to need to let Shenel go.
9 o'clock.
2 seconds.
Thank
Put my
you
kids
so
to bed.
Thank you, Shenel. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll
I'm going
speak
to
to you
leave with
soon.
you. Yeah. All right, darling.
Definitely. All right.
Thank
See you.
you.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just had to go and check on something.
That's okay.
So how have you been, Miss D. Bailey, founder of Simply Deez Events, CIC?
Very well, thank you. Very well. Very busy.
Oh, that's good to know.
Extremely
know.
busy. So those that are like jumping on now and thinking like, oh my giddy aunt, it's just after 9 and I've been on since 7 and it's been absolutely packed. I don't know sort of like who you've seen, but we've had Lady Munia from Pam Tango Radio, we've had Jeremy Salmon, and we've just had Shenel Davis, and now we've got yourself. And I had somebody that's cannot get on. But anyway, it's been a very busy time. I met you, was it last year? Because it was Leisha that introduced. Yeah. And I can't remember if that was last year or the year prior. And I came on a show.
I think it was last year.
I came on a show that you were running, and that was on a Friday, wasn't it? It was on a Friday. And we had a brief little intro, had a little bit of a banter. Yeah. And so I'll be honest with you, I kind of, you know, when you kind of know of someone, but don't really don't. So what I'm going to ask is to peel it back. And when I say peel it back, I mean peel it back. I know nothing about you. The masses out there know maybe a little bit here and a little bit there, but we're going to peel it back. So as into like, where, I don't even know, where were you born? Were you born in this country? Not?
I was born from my mother,
siblings,
I've always lived in Northwest London. When my parents came over there, South America, they're actually Guyanese. They came over from South America. They came over in the 60s, like most, not most, like quite a few Caribbean people. Nestled in NW10 and got schooled, or should I say indoctrinated, is the best way that I like to put it. I was indoctrinated in terms of how to behave and what to think, and you know, and when I left school, I decided that I wanted to go into catering, and I set up what was called the Afro-Caribbean Food Manufacturers Association, because I used to sell West Indian food in Harlesden. And then I used to import Caribbean food from the West Indies and wholesale it. It went to Western International and distribute it. So the idea was to come up with the Afro-Caribbean Food Manufacturers Association, which was to get in touch with the hotel and catering industry with a view to putting Afro-Caribbean food on the menu. But it was just around the same time that we had we had the Margaret Thatcher was in power, and we had the crash. We had that crash where interest rates went to 15%. I don't know if you remember. I can't hear you. You're muted, aren't you? You're still muted. Yeah, you are definitely still muted.
Yeah, do you know what? Because I've got noise going on in my background, and I just didn't want that to feed.
Okay, because I was trying
to feed through. So
yeah, we had a recession. Yeah, we had a recession in the late 80s, and I basically went bankrupt. But it was during that time that I from the hotel and catering days that I ended up as an Eddie Murphy lookalike. And that was something that I used to do part-time.
Who?
Sorry?
Who said you look like Eddie Murphy? Who?
You know the people that paid me to travel all over Europe. Those people.
I said, did you hear me say to the people, the masses out there, I said, if ever there was a guest that I wish I hadn't invited on the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I feel honoured.
That's a compliment.
I feel honoured.
Okay, sorry, Eddie Murphy lookalike. Carry on.
Yeah, so that was like in the late night. That was towards the early 90s. And it was also the beginning of what was known as the black comedy circuit, because it was from there that I met up with Bagger John, who put on a show in Podium in Vauxhall, and I entered that competition. I came second to the Whitney Houston lookalike. She did a very good show, actually. She really did a very good show, I must confess. But I came second to her. And then I just decided, I didn't actually decide, it was just by luck that I picked up the Voice newspaper, and they were auditioning for the 291. And then I got involved in the 291. And then off the back of the 291, I got mercilessly booed off the stage. And the sort of background that I had, I didn't know what that was like. I had no idea what it was to fail. It was just not in my vocabulary to fail.
So how old were you at this time? Because
I was old enough to do that.
Kind of like what, you're in your early 20s?
I was in my mid-20s around that time. So what happened was, after being booed off the stage, because I didn't there weren't really any places for us to go to practice stand-up comedy. There was no outlet, because I mean, all we used to do was go to dances, or people would meet up at a community center and play dominoes, table tennis, maybe bar football, maybe some pool. Yeah. But in terms of the arts, no, there was nothing really there for us as such, because Paulette Randall and Victor Romero Evans and Janet Kay and all of those guys around that time was forming together, the Black British Cooperative. But they were all actors. Okay. So what happened is I then, because I used to sit down and watch the comedians on TV. Don't know if you remember the comedians. It used to come on late, and the only black comedian on there was Charlie Williams, and he came before Lenny Henry. Yes. So watching him, I felt quite inspired. I used to like Dick Emery, Mike Yarwood. I used to like watching those guys, but they weren't doing stand-up. They were like actors kind of like thing. So I then found out that there actually was a stand-up comedy circuit, but it was a mainstream circuit, which was known as like the Time Out circuit. We used to call it the Time Out circuit because it was in London. And you had to get the Time Out magazine to find out where all these comedy spots was. So I jumped onto that circuit and I began to learn my trade. But it wasn't just about learning the trade. It was like kind of trying to understand that there was a business behind it, and you had to understand how the business worked. So I was just going to say, are you kind of then working like a main, like full-time job and doing this as a side hustle? Initially, as the Eddie Murphy lookalike thing, it was just a side hustle, because the thing is, I was into food, I was into catering, and it wasn't until I lost my business and I actually started cabbing, yeah, and then I looked at my diary when I started to do all of this mainstream work, and I found I had a load of dates in there, and because of that, I never looked back. I never actually stepped back. I never went back into catering, but I still took the mindset of wanting to leave a mark as somebody who was Black British, because my comedy was about making statements about what it is to be Black British, because we had no identity at that time. The one thing that we could cling to was Lovers Rock. That was us, right? Yeah. Lovers Rock was us, and Aswad was us, you know. But what else was there, and what other voices were there out there talking about us and our experiences, you know? So once I got my agent and I started working with a guy by the name of Keith Palmer. He's now an MBE, by the way, Keith Palmer. And we sat down together and we set up what is now known as the Comedy School, which is still here today in Camden. And because the thing is that you can't go into the job centre and find stand-up comedian. It's not there. So it's like, well, how do you become a stand-up comedian? So we sat down together. We put this course together because when I used to go to some of the workshops, the workshops that our Caucasian counterparts used to run, when I started talking about my cultural experience, they were telling me that people wouldn't understand it. They wouldn't get it. But that weren't so. It was just that they were being quite snobbish about it. You know, they were kind of like thinking, well, your comedy is below our comedy, so to speak. But that's not what the audiences said. The audience was like, oh, we like this, brother. And so it was a case of, okay, so here I now have a chance to actually get up on stage and counteract or counter what is being said about my community. And I can do this on stage and use comedy as a vehicle to say what I want to say, because I didn't want to be a counselor or anything like that, but I knew I had a big mouth, you know what I mean? So what the school has done, the comedy school has, and you'll like this, the comedy school brought you Kojo, who went on Britain's Got Talent. The comedy school brought you Rashid, Nabil Abdullah Rashid. The comedy school brought you Judy Love. The comedy school brought you Dane Baptiste. The comedy school brought you Muriel. The comedy school brought you Mr. C, Quincy. The comedy school brought you Peter Francis, right? So being Black British and first generation in the comedy game, I feel like I've done what I actually set out to do, which was to create a platform in which we could grow from. I wanted to do that with Afro-Caribbean food, with the catering industry, and take it into the schools so that they can get MVQs and what have you. But that didn't work out. But I managed to do that with comedy. So I'm quite pleased with that achievement.
So do you cook at home?
I cook at home now and again, not very often, to be honest with you. I found that once I stopped the catering, I kind of just turned my back on the whole thing.
Magic fingers stop.
Yeah, I kind of, and my focus just went into writing, producing, and I just kind of like, it's almost like I left that bit of me behind, which is quite sad because I often think about it. But I take Jenny, my wife, because I'm married. I know I don't look happy, but I am married, right?
She must be. I bet she doesn't find you funny, does she?
It's a job. It's not a question of does she find me funny. I mean, my wife is a dental nurse, and she doesn't come home and start working on my teeth. You know? So it's not a question of me trying to make her laugh or impress her or whatever. She accepts me for who I am. And like I said, what I do is from a professional point of view. It's not a case of I'm not your class clown. I'm not the guy who's going to be in the middle of the in the middle of a dance trying to entertain everybody. If you want me to entertain you, then pay me, and I can do that. Yeah, because it's a profession. It's what I do. I'm not, you know, there are people who are far more funnier than me if we're standing up in a queue to get into the cinema or to get into a club or what have you. But the thing is that there's a difference between entertaining people that you know and a small circle of people and trying to entertain maybe 5,000 to 1,000 people who you don't know whatsoever. So the same way that you said, oh, if we don't know you, please tell us about yourself, kind of like thing. It's the same as doing that. So it's not a case of me having to rely on past experiences that I need to share with you in order to make you laugh. I've got to come up with it on the moment, right in the now.
Working with what you've got.
Not only that, but I have to do it within a period of time. So that is stuff that you learn, because then you start to learn what a simile is, you start to learn what comparisons are, you start to learn what list of threes are, you start to understand what pullback and reveal is, you start to understand what surprise is, and that's the technical side of being a stand-up comedian.
So do you think I could be one?
Do I think you could be one? I've got no idea.
Yeah.
I think anybody could write. I think anybody could sit down and write funny material. Whether or not they can get up and perform it is a totally different thing. Because I think there's a comedian in everybody. I think there's a comic in everybody. But it's not. Some people are introverts. Some people are extroverts. You know, some people are shy. You know, some people are just timid.
But could still make a good comedian, right?
Who? Yeah, you can still make it. You can make a good comedian out of any of those traits. But it's the way that you deliver and tell your story, and that takes time.
It's storytelling, isn't it?
Sorry,
it's storytelling, isn't it?
It can lead into storytelling, because the difference with stand-up comedy is that it's a conversation, whereas with storytelling you tend to have like the fourth wall. So the fourth wall is you shut up and you listen, and I will take you on a journey. And what we don't do is we don't interact. Yeah, storytelling. Okay. Stand-up comedy is I can interact with you. Yeah, it's more like tennis. And not only that, but the conversation can go in any which direction it chooses to go in. So a storyteller would hate a heckler, would hate somebody to interject.
Yeah.
Because their chain of thought has gone, the concentration. Now we're on a train track we were never meant to be on. And then they've got to bring it back. A stand-up comedian exists within the time span that he's on. And the objective of that is just to elicit humor and laughter along the way. So I don't try to, I really don't try to bust your belly. Do you know what I mean? I try to have laughs along the way. And then by the end of it, at least get to a crescendo that people will turn around and say, you know what? It was all right, you know, or it was a good night. And I want to come again, you know. I've forgotten about the terrible week that I had, kind of like thing, because this person has just taken my mind off it. Or they've said something I've always wanted to say but was unable to say it. Because if I said it at work, I'll be cancelled. Because that's the one thing that comedians have. We have the license to tell the truth. We really do. You know,
have you been and you know, obviously you're at an event and you're performing, so to speak, and apart from the time that you've got booed off,
you seem to revel in that.
From the time
you said it twice. You had to say it twice. You enjoyed it so much.
I can't.
Are you going to ask me have I ever been heckled?
No, of course you've been heckled. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
There's always people who think that they're funnier than you, and that's fine until you put the spotlight on them. Because the difference is that when you like I've taken people and put them on the stage. I'm like, yeah, so you think you're funny, all right then, and then you call them on the stage. You give them the mic and then you walk off. And then they turn around and they see X amount of people waiting to be entertained. Then they tell one joke, or they think they've told one joke, and it don't drop. Then they try another joke and it don't drop. Or what could happen sometimes, they do one joke and it goes down well. So you leave them. You know what I mean? Because I've been asked to get on the stage to perform for 20 minutes. Not just to come and tell one joke. Or I've been asked to get up and perform for an hour, not to just get up and tell one joke. And the best thing to do with hecklers anyway is to try to incorporate what they've said into some material that you might have, you know, or basically just call them a dickhead and done, move on. License to tell the truth.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is like, from when you got booed off, what did that do to you seriously?
It sent me into depression. As I tried to explain,
Is it?
it actually sent me into depression because, you know, when you say to yourself, you set yourself goals and you've achieved all of those goals all of your life, and then all of a sudden you hit a brick wall because a set of people have said to you, you are not able or capable of achieving this goal of making us laugh. For me, that was like a red rag to a bull, because I was captain of my chess team, captain of my football team, captain of the swimming team, captain of the cricket team. You know, I was self-employed. I went out. I set up business. You know, I imported and exported food. I set up an Afro-Caribbean Food Manufacturers Association. You know, I even tried to set up a black bank, believe it or not. You know, as a kid. But that was like around 22, and we had to go the credit union kind of like
You need
route.
to speak to
So when
Jeremy
you try to
Salmon.
so when you've done all of those things, and then all of a sudden you're being told, no, you're not good at this particular thing, it made me question exactly who I was, or who I thought I was. And so I had to address that. And it was just, I mean, the guys, you ask the comedy circuit, they will tell you that after we did the 291 set a benchmark, because it was the first time that we had a TV show for us. And what it told us was that if you don't like something, or you see somebody that you don't like, you boo them. Yeah. So for the next three to 4 years, that was all I used to get, because people saw me on the TV and they went, "Isn't that the same guy? Yeah, it was it. Boo, boo," and they would start booing. And I would get up and go back on, and I'd get booed off, and I'd get up and go back on, because it was like I would say, "No, these people are not going to derail me from what it is that I'm going to want to do," you know. So I continued doing what I did. I became one of the first black comedians to do some stand-up on. I can't remember the name of the show, man, but it was on BBC One. Ended up going to Edinburgh. I've ended up traveling the world doing this. I've entertained in Bosnia. I've entertained in Iraq. I've entertained in Afghanistan. I've entertained in Japan, Singapore. So, you know, it was also another thing to let my children see me go through this struggle of wanting to achieve and not letting any system get in your way, all at the same time addressing the issues of what it is to be Black British, because that was my thing. You know, on the internet today, you will most probably hear of clips or see clips where they talk about what is it to be British, and I was the one who penned British. It's not black, it's not white, it's not class. It's just having the best of everything, which is like driving a oh gosh, nice. I've actually put myself on the spot. No, I have, because the thing is that the routine that I wrote, HSBC took it and they made an advert out of it.
What do you mean by took it?
They took the material that I wrote and equated it to what it is to be British with their advert. So British is like to drive a German car to an Irish pub, to drink Belgian beer while sitting on Swedish furniture, while eating an Indian takeaway, while watching an American program on a Japanese TV. Because we're a melting pot. You understand? The Queen is German, St. George is Turkish, yeah? And the leader of the country is the Milky Bar Kid, right? So it was like, I would get up in front of white audiences and say these things, yeah? Because at the end of the day, you can't tell me I don't belong here. And it was like I was trying to fight for identity. But I was using comedy as the vehicle to do that, you know. So it was to uplift myself, as well as to show my people that I can actually do this. And two, it was to allow my children to see that, you know, even in adversity, you can get through. It's just how determined you really are, so long as you've found something that you feel passionate about.
So how long would you say you've been doing comedy now, sir?
How long would I say? I've been doing comedy for over 30 years, coming up to 30 years. Yeah. Yeah. Professionally, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, professionally being paid 30 years, coming up to 30 years. I've gone so far as to have written a book.
Do you know what? I was going to ask you, have you not written a book? Oh my gosh, what does that say? Put it up again.
It's called The Authorities. I'm alongside
okay.
Les Brown, Dr. John Gray, and Raymond Aaron. An authority is somebody who knows their field. And so I wrote a book about just a brief synopsis about the development of the black comedy circuit, how it came about, because I was a part of that.
So is that book out now?
Yeah, that book is the book is out now. The box has only arrived a couple of days ago, so I should have had it ready to go on Amazon, but people can get it from me direct if they go on my Facebook or if they text me. If they go through Instagram or if they go through Facebook, they can get hold of it. It's a pretty good read, actually. So it's an outline. I'm actually in the process of writing the history of Black British comedy. You know, dating right back to before the black and white minstrel shows. This is where they used to invite the Americans to come over and entertain, so to speak. Yeah, and then explaining like how we got to where we are today.
Well done, you. I really didn't know. I didn't, because you didn't tell me anything. I didn't know anything about the book and the fact that it's literally coming out now.
Yeah.
Or is it out now? It's out now.
Yeah. It's fresh. It is actually fresh. It's fresh off the board. It's fresh, man, because it's something that I wanted to write, but I thought, let me do the synopsis first, put that out and see how people feel about it, and then write the story. So it will show the path that was taken from the days of us going down to Cabaret with Mars Crawford, which introduced us to Angela Marr, Jefferson and Whitfield, to when Leo Chester and Curtis Walker and Ishmael Thomas and Short, Sharp and Shocking and those guys used to be down at the Albany Empire. And then how we went from the Albany Empire to Hackney Empire, and then how we went from Hackney Empire to from Hackney Empire, then we went to St. Margaret's, that's right, in Brixton, and then how the whole national circuit developed through John Smith, who is a Tinky Winky, one of the Teletubbies. So then how the national circuit grew, how the comedy school, the involvement that the comedy school had in the development of that, and then the explosion of the internet, what with Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, because we now have a broad spectrum of comedians right across the board, even appearing on Radio 4 now, which is brilliant.
Wow. Every time I speak to you, I always do learn new things. Seriously, things that I didn't know, wasn't aware of, that you're even a part of, that you even know about. So I do appreciate you taking this time out. Do you know what I'm going to ask you now? This is something that didn't have time for earlier today, but I'm going to do this with you now because I can. It's my show. So I want from you, I'm going to give you 1 minute. I need you to tell us, as in the masses that are watching out there, we want from you 2 truths, so 2 things that are true about you and 1 thing that is a lie.
2 things that are true and 1 thing that is a lie.
Yeah, and we've got to work out which one's the lie.
I've actually got a fungal infection. Yeah, I got a fungal infection. I stayed up. I got a fungal infection. and I stayed up last night scraping the hard skin off the bottom of my foot. It's true, man.
More? No,
It's
you've got
true,
two.
it's
You've got to
true,
give me
it's
three
true,
things.
it's true.
You've got to give me three
I used to
things.
be, yeah, I used to be in the Boy Scouts.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yep.
I what's it? I used to be in the Boy Scouts, and I used to have all these badges down the side, and I was a firster and I was a sixer as well. Yeah.
Shelley will know if you know.
What else do you want to know? I painted and decorated my entire house. Yeah. Simple.
Boy Scout is the lie.
The Boy Scouts is the lie.
Producer, get on, please, Miss Producer. The producer's going to come on.
No, the Boy
now,
Scouts
and I
is
wanna
true,
know.
darling. The Boy Scouts is. It's either you went to the Boy Scouts or you went to the Brownies.
Yeah, I know
Was your
there's what
brownie?
the Boy Scouts, but you're saying the Boy Scout, that was the truth. The other two
It is
are
true.
lies.
I was a boy.
And the
I was
other two
actually a
things
Boy
are
Scout.
lies.
Huh?
The other two things are lies. Is that what you're saying?
No, you said 2 truths and 1 lie. I'm sure that's what you said. 2 truths. Yeah. 2 truths, 1 lie. Isn't that right, Shelley?
2 truths and a lie. We've got to
So
work out what the lie is.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I said the Boy Scout, I believe, is the lie. You're saying no.
It's true. I was in the Boy
Don't
Scouts.
say it yet. Don't say it yet because
Oh!
Shelley's supposed to.
But now we've got to work out between the other two what's the truth and what's the lie.
Okay.
And he's given that away now because you.
Well, you didn't tell me that Shelley was going to come on.
I did. I
Gonna,
said,
I was going to have to.
Right, sit tight. Say no more. Say
Okay.
no more. Shelley's got, yeah. What are
See,
you
there's
going to
people
go
here
for?
who are saying that they know about the Brownies.
Oh my God. I was a brownie and a guide, and then I went into Scouts.
See it there?
And there was a Scout
Right.
leader and stuff.
So which one, Shell? Which one is it? It's either the fungal infection or he painted and decorated the whole of his house.
Painted and decorated the whole house is the lie. Because I don't want to think.
So what you trying to say, that I'm not good at DIY? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
When I do, you know what? When I do DIY, you look at it and you go, "You did that, innit, Rudy?"
That's because it's that bad, right?
You did that, innit? Why the tiles?
Yeah, got to be.
Rudy?
We need
What's
to get
going on
somebody in.
there? No, that
We
is
need to get somebody
is true.
in.
That was the lie.
The painting and
yeah, the painting and
decorating
decorating
is
is
a
a lie. The fungal infection is true. What?
Nobody wants to think. Nobody wants to even think of that. What? There's Munya brownies. Oh God, we didn't even say brownies. It was Scouts, Munya. It was Scouts.
Is it? Yeah, but you have to go from the Brownies, isn't that right? Tell us again, Shelley. You go from the Brownies, the Girl Scouts.
Well, you do brownie. Well, now it's rainbows, brownies, guides,
Rainbow.
and then your young ladies. Yeah,
Where did the rainbow come from?
rainbows are the little tiny ones. Rainbows are the little tiny ones. So
Oh, the
it's
little
the same
tiny
age as
dots.
what beavers are in the Scouts. So you got beavers, cubs, Scouts, and then Explorer Scouts.
Okay.
Yes. See, we're schooling. We're schooling tonight.
Yeah,
We're
listen, I'm a
schooling
student
tonight.
for life, girl. I'm a student for life.
We
I learn
all are.
every single day.
We all are. And
I learn every single day. Like when the wife
Rudy.
comes home, I learn to shut up.
excellent. I'm pleased to hear it.
I learned to don't say a word.
When you were sending me something the other day, do you know what? I'm going to send it to me. Ages later, nothing. Then he goes, look, I'm in Asda.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in Asda. I can't be sending you. You're going to have to wait till I get home.
Yeah. I'm trying to save the pennies. I'm telling you, man. I mean, I got robbed in the petrol station. Had to call the police. I took them straight to pump number 4. The little thief. What to be done, man? I was like, that thing just now robs me. I thought petrol was like what, 46 pence a litre. I do remember when it was 46 pence a litre. Now it's £2. It's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
A little bit cheaper up here, but not a lot.
Lady Money thinks that's hilarious. She thinks that's hilarious.
Thank you very much. See, that's what I said. For me, humour is a conversation with laughs along the way. That's
definitely.
What it is.
Definitely. What I need for you to do, Rudy, in all seriousness, I need you to send me the details with regards to the book. Because not everybody is watching now.
Stalk me just now. Naughty girl.
Okay,
yeah, I can send you.
Because we're then going to post it out. We'll share it on our pages so that people, they're going to ask. Obviously, it's got your Instagram and Facebook.
I'll give you all my handles.
Yeah, and for the book.
Yeah.
So that way, then we can share that out to.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Also, as well. No, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. The show is not supposed to be about everybody agreeing on everything and all being all kumbaya. So thank you for your input earlier on when we had Shenel. Do you know what I mean? On everybody's not supposed. If everybody agreed on everything, then how boring would it be, huh?
It's true. It would be boring. I just feel that I don't know. I understand that domestic violence is wrong, and I think that she's doing a fantastic job. I really do, but I think we need to look a bit more closer in terms of, because culturally where I'm coming from, and I have to go. I have to eradicate, take the 400 years and throw it to one side. And then look at the civilization in which I came from. And man and woman were like this. They worked together.
Yeah.
Our development was interrupted. But even then, I can still look at what happened during the 18th century and look at the advancements that we made and see that it wasn't solely from a chauvinistic point of view that men were in the position that they were in. It was just that the more technology we developed, the easier it became domestically, which gave people time to find that time to be able to go out, to go to work. And it wasn't solely men who were digging women for leaving the children at home. The stories that I've heard is that it was actually women who was doing it to women. Not men so much. Men used to have a go at women because they ended up getting pregnant and they would have to drop a project and that would piss them off. But they weren't sort of like saying no, women shouldn't be able to do that. But then there were some men who were. There were some men who were, but I wouldn't put that down to the majority. It's just like saying all people are racist, and I know they're not.
On that note, Mr. Liquid.
Oh, you're going to let me go. Thank you very much.
We are. Please continue to tune in. There's so much that we're doing. Thank you, honestly. Thank you for coming on and taking the time out.
No, that's fine. Thank you for having me, Dee.
No worries, darling. All right. We'll catch up real soon. Thank you, darling. Take care. All right. Bye-bye. Where is the producer? Producer Shelley. I'm going to, yes, Tishi. Yes, I am going to do your update. Good evening, Tishi. Good evening, Tishi. Yes, I am going to do your update. We've got time. The other guest. Oh, bless you. Danette. Yeah. It is. This is what it's like. It's just like that. She couldn't get on tonight, unfortunately, but we will catch up with her another time. I am going to read Tishi's email. Please, if you haven't shared, please continue to share. There's a little bit more. I'm going to read do Tishi time, and then I think let's have a little chat, Shell. For the last 15 minutes or so, we're just going to have a chat. Invite those that are watching to throw things out, ask us questions. I can see Jeremy and Rudy are still in the house, so to speak. And so let me find it first of all and read that. Okay. So right. So this is Tishi. Tishi's my niece. For those of you that are unaware, my niece, and we always have an update. So I shall read that now. So, hello everyone. Since the last show, life has been good. I had a great time with Pamela at the Midsummer Jubilee Festival. We laughed so much and met some really good people, and also saw a few friends. I have written 2 new poems. One is slightly raunchy, and I think that I have another one on the way. I saw Karen on Sunday. She came to do my hair and go shopping, and we had a great catch up, and we have a party to go to this month. So we were talking about that too. I'm pushing myself in my workout sessions with Sasha and improving weekly. I'm hoping to go on a few day trips this summer, visiting my friends. I'm going to put it out there, so pay attention, those out there. Are there any decent dating apps or dating events that are free? Because I have been on most of the dating apps, and most of the men on them are just looking for one thing only. I know that many people have suggested to go on the Undateables, but I'm not sure my mum would agree, even though I'm 36. So until the next time, people, keep following your dreams and stay blessed and safe. Social.
She's ready for dating again.
Look, I've just read what she's put. What more can I say? That was what was there.
And naughty poems. Oh dear, Tishi.
Well, trust me. Well, she knows I ain't reading any of them out. That's for sure. I ain't reading none of them. They're kind of like the
read
top
them back
shelf.
out again.
Most definitely. Why should I read? I'm her auntie. You've got to remember that. I'm her auntie. I don't want to read that. I don't want to be reading that. And trust me, her mum certainly don't. Forget read it. Her mum don't want to hear it.
She will have 2 books out. One will be a normal one, and the one will be. Do you remember when Madonna brought her book out? It had to be all like in the sealed book.
Yes.
Yeah. Tishi will have one of those because Tishi's slightly raunchy poems are very, very raunchy.
Yeah, I ain't reading them. And actually, when I'm listening, I'm like this. Oh God. Yeah. We have got, so for those people that are still with us, and I know there are a few, we were going to have a guest, because you may well be on and waiting for this guest, Lady Stush, but she had an appointment today, and then sort of like just due to times and difficulty in actually getting on today, what we'll do, we'll postpone that to hopefully next month, and we will get her on in August. Tishi's put, please help. I'm bored of being single now. So to the masses out there, email simplydeezevents@gmail.com for all inquiries. Because we are going to vet your answers first. We are going to vet you beforehand to make sure you are of decent caliber for my niece. There's so much to share and so much that has gone on, Shell. I don't even know where to start. I really don't know where to start. Do you want to kind of like, so if you are watching, whether you're part of the Life in a Lockdown crew or not, I came on here and I was just, I think, well, today I've been like buzzing. So if you can imagine, sort of like we had a show at lunchtime. The show at lunchtime is called the Simply Together Show, which started 1st of June 2021 and runs every week, 12 till 12:30. Mixture of guests. There's never a particular topic as such, unless like next week we're going to be promoting an event. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But otherwise, if you're out there and I don't know, sometimes we know of people that are doing amazing things out there. It could be that, I don't know, we've had where people have had illnesses and it's something that we don't know much about. And it's like, how can you get support? How we can support them, organisations, individuals in the community that are doing things. And sometimes you don't get that recognition. People are unaware. You don't know how to get that information out there. Contact us. The information is, as I say, scrolling across your screen right now. And we'd love to have you on the show. The show's only 30 minutes. So you got sort of like between 10 and 12 minutes. It depends who's hosting, how long you've got, in all fairness. For those of you that don't actually know who we are, Simply Deez events started officially, when I say officially, I founded it, so to speak, December 2014, officially a CIC, November 2020. And it's all about you. And when I say you, we're talking about the community. And we're talking about how we can make a difference. Now, we can't do everything for everyone. And we're not trying to. But what we can do is we have various platforms. We have events. There are people involved. We want to help. Rather than moan and groan about things, that's what we do. We support and we help organisations, individuals where we can. We can't help everybody. Some we help, and then I suppose it's like a bird, really. You can do so much, and sometimes they'll fly off, and then sometimes they'll just. This might not be the story to tell now, but it is. They might just drop. And that's happened a few times. Well, that may not be the analogy that you would have used, Shel. That may not be the analogy you would have used. She's laughing at me. I can see you there, Rudy. You're thinking, bloody hell, what's she on about? Yeah, I'm just giving it because you probably don't know some of this, Rudy, and some of the stuff that we do. But yeah, super proud. And don't get the chance and opportunity, I think, sometimes to say, just super proud of the things that we do, super proud of the team. And when I say team, because a lot of people, it's like, I, me, I. And I'm sure, as Jeremy was saying earlier on, and I'm sure Rudy would say, and Shenel and Lady Munya would certainly say also as well, you can't do things on your own. You can do so much on your own. But then when there's others, you must ensure that you give that thanks back. And not like when you're talking, well, I did this and I did that. Well, no, you didn't. What about all the other people that have supported you and supporting you? So I want you to take this opportunity to say a massive, serious, massive thank you to the Life in a Lockdown crew, Life Inner and Outer Lockdown crew. Volunteers, because we've done so many projects over the past, I don't know, a little while. So yeah, so you're thinking Shelley, she's a producer woman, yeah? Yes, she is. When we do online, whether it be Zooms, whether it be these shows, but also Shelley is one of the directors of Simply Deez events. So now you're like kind of like, aha, that's right, you get it. So, literally when they say right hand woman that kind of like, oh my gosh, doesn't pick up when I ring. You know why? She's got another idea. I'm scared. Is she going to say something else? And she's had a brainwave or something. So, and the other young lady is a lovely Cecile, and Cecile is tonight. We've kind of, I don't know if she's still on the show, but she's on another show tonight, promoting some of the stuff that we're doing. So, yeah, just a massive thank you, seriously, guys, all around. Shell, I want to hand over to you. What's been happening for you, and where you're at? And I don't know, why do you do what you do? Why are we doing this Simply Deez thing? Is it for us? What are we doing? Why are we doing it? You don't know.
Yes, yeah. Recently, I've had to explain a few times, like, if you look on my Facebook profile, I've got a picture of me and my mum, and my name was put forward to go down to Buckingham Palace for afternoon tea. Yes, I was part of the garden party for some of the volunteer work they do with the charity that I'm a trustee at. And recently been talking about a lot to do with my mum. My mum's now in her 80s, and she's been volunteering and been part of guiding since she was a brownie herself. So it's, yes, quite a few years. And would always help out. There was always something that was going on with the school or whatever, then, or at the church. Yes, she was a part of it. Became a brown owl and stayed brown owl, and then became wise owl, because you have to retire at a certain age. But then I also then had me living with my granddad, so that's my dad's side of the family. He started the Stopsy Working's Men Club. There's a story behind that, but I won't go into it. So he started the Stopsy Working's Men Club. He was always been known as the grumpy man on the door, but he would be the first person that if someone, like at Christmas, was going to go home on their own to have a Christmas dinner of some kind, he would bring them home to our house, to his house. And I think with that, and my dad being the kind of guy that had learnt from his dad, being open and chatty and will help you, that's why I've done everything that I've done to do with fundraising or organisations or community in any kind of way. So yeah, we bumped back into each other in 2016, and we kind of stuck. I came along to one event.
and that's it. It's, you know, when you just sort of said about obviously collecting the Queen's, you know, going back to Buckingham Palace and getting the Queen's Award, you know, the award that you got, and I received, didn't I, back in, I don't know, April, whatever it was, Mayor's Award for outstanding contribution to the community. And if it was about awards, I don't think 22 years, I don't think if that's what it was about, you'd still be doing it. But it's for the love of, isn't it?
Yeah.
And know that the things that you're doing is making a difference. So
yeah, because it came up before, because we were saying, I was talking to someone about charities that there's some charities that you know the name of, but you don't know where it's come from. Now, some of these can be through church, and it gets called either acronyms or it's a missionary project and things. And it's a standalone charity, but it's actually attached to a church. So I worked out since the age of 6, I've had my own little charity work. Because I was brought up a Methodist, and in there you had through the Sunday school that you tried to save pennies. That's all it was. You had a little money box, and you would ask friends, like your family, relatives, that kind of thing. They could do a little subscription if they wanted to. So you had a little book, and they would give you like your 5p every week or whatever. And it literally was just pennies. But what it was to teach you collecting all those little bits, put it into the church. The church then turns it into something bigger, and you would get newsletters and things back of what the church has done. But you knew your little pennies that you was doing as a child was going to a bigger project. So where I'm like quite a bit over 14, coming on to 50. Yes, I've actually been volunteering part of the charity work since I was 6. Yeah, it's just a bit scary.
We could chitty-chatty all night, you know that. But we got some important information to let these people know, haven't we?
Yes.
I don't know whether or not you've got them.
Yeah, I've got them all here, but then I mixed them up earlier, and they're all in a funny order.
Okay, you're talking about the events and stuff.
Yeah. So the next one then being this Sunday, Stockwood Park. Luckily, we've been offered a stall at Stockwood Park's Craft and Food Fair. Mm-hmm. This would be our second one coming up on Sunday. It's a bigger thing, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger during the year. So hopefully bits and pieces will come up for Christmas as well. So at the moment, second Sunday of the month, 11 till 5. So that's when the Discovery Centre is open. Mm-hmm. And the Discovery Centre is where the cafe is, and we're actually in the bit where all the cars and the horse and carts and the actual museum-y pieces are. We're all in there. I think if the weather's good, then we have got access to the outside as well. So that's a nice one to come along. And it's all sorts of different food and crafty people, small businesses, all artisan. So nothing that's like a big name that's then like selling Avon and whatever else. Yeah, it's all artisan stuff. Then we have next Thursday.
I forgot about that.
Well, we used to do it weekly, then we did it fortnightly, now we just do it monthly. So it's Life in a Lockdown Zoom. Where the books were originated from, where we had to change our soirees that we did in the actual community, that we then had to go online for lockdown. We are still doing some of those, as I said, once a month. So our next one is on there. You do need to register for the Zoom link, but you'll find all those details on our page.
And then, if you're not following our page, you won't get information.
No. And if you subscribe to the emails, you get the emails come through monthly, because I'm being a good girl and now sending them through properly. Our next big event is then coming up on Saturday the 16th.
Major, yeah.
This call it health and well-being. It's anything to do with yourself. So your physical health and your mental health and the whole wellness that comes as part of it is the whole of you. If one thing's out, one thing's bothering you, then it's going to knock out the whole thing. So we have, was it 22, I think now? 21, 22 exhibitors.
Yes, I think 23 now. Yeah.
So 23. Exhibitors from charities, from local projects, individual people, some of the small, we've liked to have got like this, it's the smaller projects and charities that you can just drop in anytime between 10 till 2 and have a chat to these people. There'll be a lot of information going there as well. So even though we haven't got like cancer research there, though I've got plenty of the leaflets that we had before that we had down in the hub. Same with breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, because I'm doing a sponsored walkie thingy for that day. And to be quite honest, I forgot which date it was, and I said yes. And then this is the same day, so I'm going to be walking around a lot with a special T-shirt on. But there's going to be plenty of information about other bits and pieces that you can just pick up as well. So it's not just like you speaking to people. And there's a couple of workshops as well. More information on our Facebook page.
I want to quickly, because I've literally just pulled up the list, so I just want to quickly run through so people get a little flavour of what we've got. So we've got the Bedfordshire Recovery College, we've got Lyndon Wissott and the Inspired Diabetic, we've got Menopause Alliance, Beds and Luton, Meaningful Practice, Active Luton, Sickle Cell Society, Health Watch Luton, the Disability Resource Centre, Keach Hospice, Louise Taylor, the Burnout Coach, Cecile Terrelon Counselling Service, Verelba Mind and Body, Women's Aid Luton, Prostate Cancer, Luton Sexual Health, Frequent Angels PA Services, Flying Start Early Alliance, Denise Coates, who's talking about breast cancer, Headway Luton, and dementia and Alzheimer's. Those are some of the workshops. No, some of the stands. Sorry, the stands that are going to be there on the day. So in terms of workshops, if you want or interested in the workshops, it is a case of sign up on the day. We're not going to take your details now and then you don't show. So I suggest you get there early. They will be starting at 10:30. We open at 10:30. The workshops will start. We're going to have fibromyalgia, Active Luton. That topic is to be confirmed. We'll give you that by the end of the week. And also we have Verelba Mind and Body with harnessing nature for health and well-being. So some pretty incredible going on that day. So it's a bit of a one-stop shop. So even if it's not for you, sorry.
No, it was with alongside with that, I also then forgot, we'll also be launching the fact that I've just signed us up to be the the leaders for a charity called Mental Health Mates. What they do is walks, so it's nothing to do. Wait, it kind of is. It's not going walking for your physical health. It's walking and talking. So it's really gentle walks. We're going to be based all around the Luton area, where just for an hour and a half, you come out for a walk with a group of people, and you can just chat. So if there's stuff that's then going on, it is proven fact that if you sit next to someone or walk with someone rather than face to face, it's easier to talk about your problems. So if you're sat across the table from someone, it's more confrontational. So if you're walking or you've sat next to someone on a bench, it is easier to talk. And they lost, I think, their leader through, since COVID, something's happened. I don't know what, because there was a walk going on. I asked, and then there isn't one, so I said yes.
She said yes. So yeah. More information. That's why when we sort of say share, we say sign up to the newsletters and all this. And it's like, oh, I didn't get that. If you signed up to the newsletter, you'd get all the information come through. You know exactly what we're doing, because there are lots and lots. Well, I'm not interested in that. There is always something that would grab you, your family, or somebody else you know that we're actually doing. So what else? Are we going to share to the end of the month, I think, Shell? Shall we?
Yes. We already spoke about it at the beginning of the show, but we need to tie it up on the end.
Who?
Afrofest. It's going to be just as big as Carnival, really, isn't it? But it's all going to be in one place. So Munya was on earlier. Afrofest in Manor Park. If you don't know where that is, Luton Town Centre. It's Park Street, Vauxhall Brace kind of bit, that bit of a park going up that way. Yeah. Yes, it's kind of that going up that way. So just that little bit out of town, of the town centre itself, I should say. But yes, should be a good day with lots of different music and food and everything else. Give you a bit of a taster.
Entertainment. There's stands. We've got a stand, Shelley Scrumptious, Simply Deez events. So there are still stands available. I know Lady Munya said, so if you didn't get her details earlier on, again, contact us and we will make sure you make that connection, and she can give you all those details also as well. I know there's something else. There's more things happening, but guess what? How are you going to find out? You need to follow us. You're going to need to follow us and obviously sign up to the newsletter. Please, you know we're on YouTube now, and please subscribe. Please tick that for notifications, as they say. You see all the time we're scrolling, we're sharing, we get other people on to share what they're doing. All we ask is you do the same. Let people know about us. There is always something to learn. Always something to learn.
And sometimes it's not for you, it's for someone else. You'll learn something and you'll like, okay, fine, it might go in and then it will stay there and then it will come out because you have that conversation with someone.
Exactly. So we know we have packed an awful lot into tonight's show. We really have. And that's why, as you can imagine, the show's monthly. You can imagine trying to do a weekly show, wouldn't get anything done. So Tisha has put out an appeal. She's put out an appeal tonight. Yes, she's put out an appeal. So please continue to share. You can still share this. As I said, we're on YouTube as well. Obviously, Pam Tango Radio. Pam Tango Radio also as well, because people can catch this and watch this on the replay. We're going to need to wrap. You can hear my voice is starting to croak now. I just wanted to say a massive thanks, Shell, for all that you do. Seriously, it's like this. It's like, oh my God, what she want, what she thought of now. I just want to say before we go off air, for those of you that don't know, right in the middle of COVID. So next week is actually going to be our 2-year celebration of Life in a Lockdown, the very first book that we wrote. Trust me, it's going to be all over everything. So we're still selling books. We are still selling books 2 years on. We have gifted books to the hospice, to Azalea, to where did you give those books to? Michelle, can't remember. To lots of organisations and people in need. But what I wanted to say was, we also, October 2020, in Luton Indoor Market, we set up the community Read It, Watch My Lips, Play It Back, the community hub and collaborative store in Luton Indoor Market, which ran successfully. I think that's the right word I want to use, Shell. Successfully. Yes, yep. For 14 months. And we had to close that at the end of December 2021. It was a space where we had different small businesses, and they could have an area where they could have their products or services there that were on sale. Plus also it was a space where people used to just pop in, have a chat. I've only got 5 minutes. Hey, hour and a half later, we're still chatting. We'd have organisations come in and maybe do demonstrations, share information. And it's one of those things. It was one of them kind of brainstorm. It was just an idea. Don't think about it. Let's do it. We did it. It worked. So for those thinking like it wasn't, it was more than successful. We've outgrown. That's the word. Outgrown the unit that we had in the market. We've outgrown it. So we are. If you don't put it out there, it's not going to happen. We are manifesting right now. Shelley's going, oh Lord, manifesting our own space. We're going to make it happen because there is so much things that we are doing and want to do. So if you're in a position, ideally, we are looking at Luton. If you're in a position to help, because you just never know, because you are asking somebody to be like, well, actually, yeah, that is currently one of the things that we are doing. And that is the biggest thing that we're doing. It's going on in the background. Other things are taking place, but just letting you know, because so many people are like, what's happening? And are you gonna, we haven't given up, and it wasn't unsuccessful. It was successful. So successful that we need somewhere much bigger. And we can do more works for the community. So we are truly grateful for all of you that support, whether it's online support, whether it's physical support, whether it's monetary support. Yeah, we are grateful and thankful. So as I say, watch this space. Shell, what else do you want to say apart from good night?
Can I go and get me a cup of cocoa now?
Oh, nothing changes, does it? You're going to go and get a cup of cocoa. And if you sort of like know me in the last 2 months, 2.5 months, I think I'm Alan March, and I've got to go and water my plants now, my little babies, because they're waiting for me. Yeah, so honestly, thank you. I've had an awesome time. And I think what we're going to do this every show. We're going to allocate time. So we have a little chat at the end, Shell. But before we go, I want to say a humongous thank you to all of the guests that took time out tonight. So that's Lady Munya. Thank you so much, darling. Jeremy Salmon, who is doing some incredible work, not just with the family, also for the community also as well. We then had the lovely Shenel Davis, the Ebonista project. You will be hearing more from that young lady, and hopefully we can get her along next week to attend the Health and Wellbeing Project and share some information. And then last but not least, as I say, Rudy Liquid, thank you so much for coming and taking time out to be on the show, young man. There's a book that he literally is out now. We'll get that information and we will share that on our platforms. So while Shell,
and hello to anyone that's anyone that's actually watching a replay. If you do, can you comment afterwards that you've watched it on that? Because I do know that there's quite a lot of people that don't stay up now and they catch on the replay.
Yeah, of course. Hang on, Mr. Liquid. Mr. Liquid is dying to get back on. Let's bring him back on. He's still there.
I was actually doing me accounts. Hello. I left the camera on.
Oh, bless you. No, seriously.
It was only us that could see.
It's a good thing I wasn't doing something, man. I wasn't building a split or anything like that. It's a good thing, isn't it? Jesus Christ. You know, just flick me on. Next thing you know, I got police knocking at my door. Boom, 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 boom. I go, what do you say? Where's the proof? Where's the proof? Oh, we went on Steve Bailey's page. There's the proof.
Producer, yeah. Yeah, no, we're literally wrapping up now and just sort of saying, because you're still there, just thanking you. Seriously, when we say thank you, you know, like some people just say thank you, don't really, we generally mean it, because people are busy, got busy lives, and to take time out. And I'm sure, you know, you did your slot, so to speak. You could have just disappeared, but you're still there. And even if you're doing your accounts, you're still there. So we're just saying that we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate anyone who takes the time to sit down and listen. I think it's good to communicate. It's good to talk, man. Do you know what I mean? There's so many things that we don't know. And there's always somebody, just 6 people away from you who has the answer to what you're looking for, you know? So it's platforms like this
Exactly.
helps. This is what
Exactly.
makes all the
Appreciate that.
difference, man. It's either that or you watch Love Island, isn't it?
Mm.
I know, exactly, Shelly. That's exactly what I mean. Exactly that. Exactly. You're like, what is that about, man?
But I bet you could tell us everything that's going on, though.
I can't tell you. I couldn't tell you a thing. I couldn't tell you a thing. I'm just like, no. It's no.
Things have
I think
changed.
from the time they killed JR, that was me done when it came to.
Somehow, it looks like there's still people that haven't got lives that are still watching, and unless they've disappeared and just left it on.
They got lives, man. You know what I mean?
But they're still.
They're finding
This is so
entertaining. That's what it is. And I think you're not just entertaining, you're edutaining.
Correct.
Ooh.
That is the word. Let's note that down, Shell, because we love that word, because that's exactly it. That is exactly it. So, yeah, we've still, all those that are still watching, that's Danette, Munya. Yeah. Thank you. Right,
All three of you. How are you?
Yeah. Staying 6. It could be 3 people. In 2 different places.
It doesn't tell you those that are on YouTube, does it, Shell?
Huh? What was that?
Does it tell you who's watching? It doesn't tell you who's watching on YouTube. How many, does it?
Yeah, there's two watching on YouTube, 2 watching on our page, and 2 watching on Pam Tango's page.
See there, that's 6, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I knew I shouldn't have left my day job.
Yeah, it's all right, because you watch to see if I don't get an email from this guy by the end of the week sort of saying, actually, Dee, because I was on that show, you wouldn't believe. And I'll be like, the amount of people that have contacted me.
I can believe that.
You watch and see. You watch and see. All right, we're going to go now. So thank you once again, Rudy. Thanks
for having me. Much appreciated. Bye-bye. Bye,
no problem.
Shelley.
And we'll stay in contact. All right, darling. Bye-bye. Thank you. Shell, go and get the cocoa. We're out of here. Remember, guys, we are at the Discovery Centre on Sunday. And most importantly, 16th of July, put it in your diaries now. Share. It's on all of our pages. We really want to, we're making a difference, and we're doing this in partnership with Master Farm Futures. All right, let's go. Out of here for now. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.